Chapter 681. Forbidden City. The battle had ended, but it was not the time to celebrate. Zhang Tao, Nen Yunyue, and the others had yet to return. There was still a chance that something unexpected would occur. Fang Ping and the others were waiting in the Forbidden City. While they waited, the details of the battle in the Violet Forbidden City quickly spread out. Currently, only the most powerful experts knew about it. Shishan Catacombs. Shishan City. When he heard that the two true kings had given up on the battle and were bent on killing Fang Ping, he was shocked. Grand Master Fang Yu sighed deeply and said with difficulty, "Do I really have to give up the surname passed down by my ancestors? It didn't feel good. How dangerous." The old man pondered for a long time and suddenly said, "Why don't you call me Mr. Yu in the city from now on? Don't call me Master Fang anymore." Fang Yu felt that it was safer this way. The catacomb's true king must be very sensitive to the word Fang now. Chun Gaiang, who was guarding the West Mountain catacombs, was not considered powerful among those at the pinnacle. He might not be a match for the Maple King. If King Huai and King Feng were together, it would be even more dangerous. Li Yiming rolled his eyes. This old man was too afraid of death. Li Yiming couldn't be bothered with this uncouth old man. He sighed and said, "Amazing." He was really amazing, for rank 9s had just died in the Shishan catacombs, and he turned around and went to the Forbidden Catacombs, ending the battle of the Forbidden Catacombs. They had run 2 catacombs in a day. Most importantly, they had run 1 catacomb, and a group of rank 9s had died. From now on, we might not be able to see this fellow's shadow in the catacombs anymore. Just as he finished speaking, the Maple King rushed back from the West Mountain catacombs and bellowed, "The 17 southern regions, heed my command. Heavenly Plants, Royal Court, and Destiny Royal Court orders. From today onwards, Fang Ping would definitely kill anyone who encountered him in the 108 outer territories. The 2 royal courts will be rewarded with 2 9th-grade divine weapons, 2,000 liters of Spring of Life, a true monarch's absolute art, and a true monarch of their choice in the True Monarch Hall to preach for 3 months. As you command." At this moment, all the rank 9 experts in the 17 southern regions roared. Some level 9 experts were even trembling with excitement. A 9th-grade divine weapon. A true king's ultimate technique. A true king's lecture. For a level 9 expert, this was a godsend opportunity. Perhaps he could use this opportunity to step into the true king realm. As for who the true monarch absolute art belonged to, whether it belonged to a living true monarch or a fallen true monarch, no one cared. It would be even better if he died. Perhaps he could use this opportunity to walk the path of a fallen true king. Those who were still alive were still incredible. They could use this opportunity to peek into the true king's Tao. Even if they couldn't walk this true king's path, their battle prowess would still increase greatly. Li Changxing was able to kill a rank 9, not only because of the unification of 10,000 Tao, but also because he had learned the void-piercing sword technique. That day, Li Shun had offered a price of 100 billion, which was really free. Even so, Fang Ping had bargained to 25 billion. Li Zhen was already being extremely magnanimous by not smacking him to death. This order is the same for martial artists who have been resurrected. The true King Hall promises to treat the revived martial artists as the same and keep their identities a secret. As soon as he said this, the expressions of Fang Yu and the others in the direction of West Mountain City changed dramatically. "Damn it! Fang Yu is enraged. You should be punished for your evil intentions." He believed that if he heard it here, the other catacombs would most likely hear it too. Initially, he thought that the 2 true kings had reached their limit when they wanted to kill Fang Ping. He did not expect it to be the 2 royal halls, and even the true king's hall had passed. The truth was as Fang Yu had expected. On this day, Fangping really became famous. It was not just the Sino-nation's catacombs. Even the catacombs abroad had heard the voice of the catacombs' true king. He must kill Fangping. Both King Maple and King Huai did not expect true King Hall to agree so readily. Originally, both of them only wanted to put up a bounty for Fangping in the nearby regions. However, when the news was reported to the true King Palace, a comprehensive arrest warrant was quickly issued. A true king powerhouse had been resurrected, could restrain his aura, could change his aura, cultivated for more than 2 years, entered rank 7, possessed large amounts of imperishable substance, and was suspected to have entered the bounded domain several times. Such a martial artist should be killed. He must be killed. This person might be an important person who was related to both the Land of Rebirth and the Land of Rebirth. There were even some experts in the True King Hall who guessed that the Demon Emperor had been revived. Demon Emperor. Even some of the younger True Kings in the catacombs did not know about this title, but many of the older True Kings knew. When they heard that the Demon Emperor had revived, the True King's Palace of the 4 great imperial halls quickly reacted. Not long after, the news was verified. Fangping was known as the devil in the Land of Rebirth. Demon King, Demon Emperor, whether it was a coincidence or not, Fangping must die. In the catacombs, there were true king powerhouses who had lived for more than 1,000 years. Now, it was year 1040 of the God Continent calendar. Very few people knew that the opening of the God Continent calendar was related to the battle that year. Although the battle 1,000 years ago was not as famous as the battle in the Land of Kings battlefields, nor was it as famous as the Demon Emperor's War of Gods, there were people who had personally experienced this battle. These people had experienced that era. They knew how terrifying the Demon Emperor was. Now, the resurrected powerhouse who was suspected to be the Demon Emperor had returned, along with the older true king powerhouses shouting the name. Demon Emperor, Maple King, and Huai King's initial plan of putting Fangping on the wanted list in the nearby territories had become 108 territories in an instant. Moreover, a great war was about to begin. At this time, the restricted areas were willing to sow discord among the humans. The Martial King protected Fangping. The newly promoted true king powerhouse, the Moon King, was indebted to Fangping. With the protection of 2 great kings, killing Fangping would be very difficult. However, if there was an internal strife among the humans, the Martial King and the Moon King would become estranged from the other true king powerhouses, or even fall out with each other. That would be even better. As long as Fangping died, whether he died at the hands of the humans or not, they could use this as a pretext to stir up suspicion among the Land of Rebirth powerhouses. Once there was an internal strife among the Land of Rebirth powerhouses, that would be an opportunity. This day had a huge impact. Fangping's name resounded throughout both worlds. In the Magic City catacombs, Wu Quishan wanted to cry, but had no tears. Trouble was coming. Everywhere else had their own reactions. In the Forbidden City, when Fangping received the news from everywhere, his face was full of grief and helplessness. I'm wanted in 108 territories. Even if it's a bounty, it doesn't have to be like this. Why don't I chop off my own head and send it to them? At least I can exchange it for some benefits. What Demon Emperor resurrected? Nonsense. I have nothing to do with the Demon Emperor. The catacombs could get news from the human world. Humans could also get some news from the catacombs. Regarding the news of Fangping being the Demon Emperor Unquestionable Jian's resurrection, the catacombs did not seem to hide it. Very soon, the news reached Li Zhen. At this moment, Li Zhen rushed over again. He stared at Fangping for a while and said with some uncertainty, "That day in the Hall of Myriad Origins, you really didn't sense anything?" "No," Fangping said angrily. "Unquestionable Jian is unquestionable Jian. I am me. What do I have to do with unquestionable Jian? If I can't even destroy the catacombs after living for more than 2,000 years, then I've lived in vain. Can unquestionable Jian compare to me? We're not on the same level at all. Li Shun felt that his temper had improved a lot today. Otherwise, he would really want to kill this bastard. Unquestionable Jian was a powerhouse who had taken 3 great paths. The suppressing heavenly king who had taken 2 great paths was already hailed as the first paragon. It could be seen how powerful a powerhouse who had taken 3 great paths was. It was understandable that the catacombs were afraid that Fang Ping was unquestionable Jian's resurrection. Fang Ping, on the other hand, had an attitude of looking down on unquestionable Jian. This made Li Shun very tired. If that was the case, even though this kid was respectful to him, in reality, he did not take him seriously at all. He was not even as good as unquestionable Jian. Li Shun did not want to say anything else. After a while, he said coldly, Zhang Tao hasn't settled the 18 southern regions matter yet. He did not want to bother with Fang Ping anymore. When Zhang Tao returned, he would take Fang Ping's cultivation method and then throw this bastard far away. In the future, Sino Nation's catacombs would completely seal him off. As for how his strength would improve without the catacombs, nonsense. If this kid had a cultivation method and did not lack imperishable substances, he could improve rapidly by cultivating in seclusion. It would also prevent him from causing some big trouble. Right now, this guy was hated by everyone. He was more annoying than Li Zhan. At least he had the corresponding strength. Others would not dare to provoke him. However, this kid was a rank 7 martial artist. He did not have the strength to crush everything. Who else would he kill if not him? Li Zhen talked about Zhang Tao. Very soon, Zhang Tao returned. Not only Zhang Tao, but Nan Yunyue also returned. As soon as she returned, she quickly gathered everyone for a meeting. In the side hall, Zhang Tao waited for Fang Ping to enter the door. He chuckled. Not bad at all. You're famous. You're famous. I won't be able to protect you in the future. Good luck. Don't. Fang Ping looked helpless. He cried out, Minister, don't you know who I'm doing this for? It's for everyone, for humanity, for Sino Nation. Why does it seem like it's my fault now? I'm so wronged. Zhang Tao chuckled. You can't say that. I didn't ask you to scold King Huai in the catacombs, did I? You were the one who insisted on scolding him. King Huai was so angry that he almost vomited blood. I didn't ask you to say that you were resurrected from a paragon, did I? You insisted on saying that you even shouted Paragon Strike. I didn't ask you to say that there are patriarchs in the catacombs, did I? You insisted on saying that you even contacted 9 Paragon patriarchs. As Zhang Tao said this, the powerhouses present could not help but laugh. This kid put on such a cool act before. Was he scared now? Fang Ping could be considered to have created history by putting a rank 7 on the wanted list in the 108 catacombs territories. It was unprecedented. Fang Ping said gloomily, didn't I do that to attract King Huai's hatred? Otherwise, how could I make King Huai send people to kill me? Enough. Zhang Tao pressed his hands together and did not continue this topic. He said casually, don't enter the catacombs. Don't go abroad. What's the big deal? In Sino Nation, you can't die. Fang Ping's expression was ugly. If he did not enter the catacombs, where would he get wealth? Without wealth, how could he cultivate quickly? Without wealth, who knew how many people here would have died? Zhang Tao ignored him. He also felt that Fang Ping needed more time to cultivate. After saying this, Zhang Tao looked around and said, this time, King Huai lost the forbidden catacombs. Before this, he had already moved away the giant mine and all the high-ranked martial artists, but left tens of millions of catacombs humans. These tens of millions of people are a big problem. This is also the first time we have such an experience. It's different from the Tiananmen catacombs. The catacombs in Tiananmen catacombs did not give up. Instead, there were restrictions. High-ranked martial artists were not allowed to fight. But here, since these people have been abandoned, it means that they can be killed at will. However, tens of millions of catacombs humans, do they really have to be slaughtered? Kill. Many catacombs humans are ordinary people, completely unaware of this. There are many infants and young children. Martial artists of our generation, even if they are not of the same race, must have different intentions. Even if we can take it seriously, can a group of ordinary catacombs humans do anything to us? If we don't kill tens of millions of people in the catacombs, how can we make the forbidden catacombs our territory? We must not be soft-hearted. In a race war, if we really want to kill, then we can do it. But tens of millions of people, we still need to be careful. Once the catacombs powerhouse's hatred is aroused, all the cities in the 108 outer regions will mourn. Then we'll be in trouble. Zhang Tao talked about the pros and cons for a while, then looked at everyone and asked, "What do you think?" Everyone looked at each other. After a long time, Tianmu said in a muffled voice, "I only carry out the military department's orders. The commander has the final say." Li Jun glanced at him. "You say that I have the final say at this time? I've never seen you so obedient, usually." After thinking for a moment, Li Jun said, "How about this? Since all the high-ranked martial artists have been taken away, then the middle-ranked martial artists, all the rank, 6 will be killed." When he said this, Fang Ping somewhat admired this person's decisiveness. Commander Li was quite good at making decisions at critical moments. Actually, in the forbidden catacombs, other than one city, the other 11 cities had never fought with humans before. However, at this time, Li Jun said he would kill them without hesitation. Of course, Fang Ping could not be bothered with this. He had never been too concerned about things that had nothing to do with him. Li Jun continued, "Arrest all rank, 4 and 5 martial artists. Send some to Tiananmen catacombs, and some for human research." Li Jun said coldly, "Didn't Tiananmen catacombs high-ranked martial artists not participate in the war? Then send these middle-ranked martial artists in. I want to see if they will fight for resources and territory, or if they will be absorbed, or if they want to invade the human world. I'm guessing that in order to fight for resources and territory, they are more likely to fight among themselves. Of course, this is just a test. A portion of the 3 lower ranks martial artists will be banished from the royal city to be responsible for pioneering and exploring. A portion will be gathered in the forbidden catacombs to build a real martial artist city for human martial artists to train. In the past, it was difficult for the 3 lower ranks martial artists to have the opportunity to train in the various catacombs. The evil sect martial artists have also begun to decrease in the past 2 years. The 3 lower ranks martial artists lack actual combat experience. Even if there are sacrifices, we must create a batch of promising talents. As for the large number of normal catacombs humans, they are responsible for mining and planting medicinal herbs. But there are still too many. As Li Jun spoke, Zhang Tao smiled. Simple. Throw them into the restricted area. Open the passageway and send away most of the normal catacombs humans. Whether the restricted area kills or banishes them or doesn't care, that has nothing to do with us. Dead or alive, we didn't kill them. Not every martial artist in the catacombs doesn't care about these normal catacombs humans. If the Monster Plant's royal court doesn't handle it well, it may cause some trouble. That's the general arrangement. What do you guys think? No objections. The ministers can make the decision. No one had any objections. Zhang Tao smiled. Then it's settled. Tomorrow, everyone will enter the forbidden catacombs and start to deal with post-war matters. Kill rank 6, capture rank 4 and 5 martial artists, and throw them into the Tianan catacombs. Banish the normal catacombs humans and create a relatively safe place for Sino Nation's 3 lower ranks martial artists to train. The few of them settled it in a few words, without any hesitation. After saying that, Zhang Tao smiled again. Elder Nan has advanced to Paragon. Congratulations! Sino Nation has given birth to the 15th desperation stage, martial artist. It's worth celebrating. Everyone congratulated Nan Yunyue. Nan Yunyue responded with a smile. She was in a good mood. Nan Yunyue was in a good mood. She asked casually, "Did I get anything from the rank 9 I killed earlier?" In the crowd, the National Garrison Commander of the Detective Department, Zhong Qinghuan, glanced at Fang Ping and Li Changsheng and said, "Fang Ping and Li Changsheng are keeping that life extinguishment flower." When Zhong Qinghuan said this, he glared at Li Changsheng. There was no other reason. This bastard had snatched her life extinguishment flower. Otherwise, Nan Yunyue had killed the rank 9 monster plants. Now that she had advanced to Paragon, plus she already had a rank 9 divine weapon, she would not need this. The biggest possibility was that he had given it to her. However, this bastard Li Changsheng had snatched it from her hands. Nan Yunyue's smile froze. He took it away just like that. That was really fast. Zhang Tao smiled and did not say anything. It was good that he had taken it away. If it was with Nan Yunyue, he could forget about it. However, if it was with Fang Ping, then he could think about it. On the side of the Education Department, there were also a few rank 9 powerhouses. Bei Gongyan, the Wusan Army's commander, and Xie Yifan, the Deputy Minister of the Education Department. The Education Department currently had this configuration: 1 paragon and 2 rank 9s. On the side of the Detective Department, there was 1 paragon and 1 rank 9 commander, Zhong Qinghuan. The military would be much more powerful. Paragon Li Zhen, rank 9 Tianmu, Guoxian, Li Deong, as well as Commander Zhou from the military department, who was guarding outside the battlefield. The 3 departments and Paragon had a total of 10 rank 9 powerhouses. As for the 4 main guard manners, the 2 northeast guard manners had 4 rank 9s on the list. Powerhouses who were not on the list, such as Chun Yaozu and Chun Qi, were also from the guard manners. The 2 southwest guard manners were slightly weaker. Only the deputy and the principal were rank 9. On the Sino Nation list, there were 36 rank 9 powerhouses. Axe King died in battle, so there were actually 35. There were 18 rank 9s from the 3 departments and 4 manners on the list, more than half. Besides, people like Wu Quishan, Fan Haiping, and Fang Yu could actually be considered as people from the 3 departments and 4 manners. Old Zhang was calculating these things in his heart, wondering if he could get more benefits from Fang Ping. Currently, the rank 9 in the Department of Education, Xie Yifan, did not even have a rank 9 divine weapon. Thinking about it, Zhang Tao was not in a hurry to say it. He quickly changed the topic, saying, "I'm preparing to have someone rearrange the rank 9 list." As soon as he said that, in the crowd, the faces of the 2 presidents of the Martial Arts Association turned purple. At this time, when we are talking about business, you want to rearrange the list? What do you mean? Do you insist on being number 1? Zhang Tao did not care about what they were thinking. He smiled and said, "At this point, some things should not continue. Axe King Xing Kaiwen's name should go." After Axe King died in battle, his family did not even dare to hold a funeral. To be honest, we have let these people down. But the situation was like that. We had no choice. We cannot let the situation become unstable. This time, I thought about the ranking. Senior Chun Yaozu, you, and Senior Chun Chi will be on the list. Family Head Jiang, you, Family Head Wei, Family Head Su, and Family Head Li will all be on the list. With that, even without Axe King, there were 41 rank 9 martial artists. Previously, there were only 33 people in the rank 9 ranking list. Later, the number increased, and now there are 41 people. This can also reduce the panic caused by the death of the Axe King. Zhang Tao sighed. Do the same for the other rank 7 and 8 powerhouses who died in battle. For these people, their families don't even dare to publicly announce that their family members have passed away. They know their hardships. They still have to force a smile when facing outsiders. It's not easy. Letting the dead shoulder the responsibility is also our incompetence. Zhang Tao's words made everyone feel a little upset. The reason the dead were included in the list was not to show that these heroes were not forgotten, but to prove the weakness of humanity. Even after these people died in battle, they still had to bear the responsibility. Hearing this, the 2 presidents of the Martial Arts Association hurriedly nodded. They had misunderstood Minister Zhang. Zhang Tao ignored them. Finally, he said, even if we win the Battle of Forbidden City, there's no need to make a big fuss about it. As everyone knows, this is a matter that involves tens of millions of catacombs humans. At this time, some people might want to promote the idea of equality for all, but I couldn't be bothered to waste my energy to deal with them. Everyone, go back and have a good rest. Those who need to recuperate, get some rest. Before he finished speaking, Fong Ping asked curiously, Seniors, you aren't hurt, are you? As soon as this was said, everyone was speechless. Yes, they were not hurt because their injuries had healed. However, they believed that Fong Ping was not really curious, but had ulterior motives. As expected, the next moment, Fong Ping sighed. It's a pity. I risked my life to go to the Land of Boundaries and fought hundreds of rounds with the monsters in the Land of Boundaries. I was beaten to the point that my golden body collapsed a few times. Even my core materialization was destroyed. This time, I obtained some opportunities in the Land of Boundaries. As he said that, Fong Ping displayed his materialization. Looking at the gold house that was no longer recognizable, some of the grandmasters in the crowd changed their expressions slightly. Before this, they thought that Fong Ping was joking. At this moment, these grandmaster powerhouses' expressions changed again and again. Fong Ping's gold house had a great reputation. After the battle in Skygate City, many people knew about it. They did not expect that even his gold house would be destroyed. Soon, in the crowd, Tianmu sighed. I can't return the imperishable substance that I borrowed previously. I don't have the money either. Don't worry. When I earn enough, I'll return it together with the divine weapon from before. Fong Ping's things did not come for nothing, seeing his materialization in this state, and thinking about how this fellow did not even have time to repair his materialization before coming to the Forbidden Catacombs to rescue everyone. Many grandmasters were ashamed. Previously, they even had the thought of reneging on the debt. They were really too ashamed to face anyone. Fong Ping smiled. Senior Tian, it was 100 billion previously. Let's change it now. This time, you've used up a lot of imperishable substance. Let's make it 200 billion. Tianmu smiled bitterly. He did not hesitate. Very quickly, he took Fong Ping's IOU and revised it. Senior Wu, what do you say? Wu Chuan said helplessly, I can't pay it back. You know me. In order to exchange for the divine weapon previously, I handed over all my assets. I'll owe it first. 100 billion. I didn't use that much. The imperishable substance is not a matter of money. Wu Chuan was speechless. He wrote the IOU without a word. Fong Ping did not put away his broken gold house. Instead, he smashed it on Zhang Weiyu's face. Zhang Weiyu was speechless. He began to write the IOU silently. I don't have money either. Putting aside the fact that he risked his life to rescue them, he almost had his materialization crushed. Under such circumstances, they were all unscathed, but Fong Ping was seriously injured. How could he renege on the debt? Zhang Tao and the few other paragons watched, not saying a word. Li Hansong's admiration was at its peak. Look, I knew that these people would not renege on the debt. As expected, I was right. Amazing. P.S. Sorry, don't wait. I'll update the third chapter at around 2:00 tonight. The updates have been unstable for the past few days. Please remember this book's original domain name. Nine Heavens Divine Emperor mobile version website. Chapter 682. Brother Tian 200 billion. Brother Wu 100 billion. Guardian Zhang 100 billion. Deputy Commander Li 100 billion. Leader Zhao 100 billion. Grandmaster Wang Yu 100 billion. Elder Fan 100 billion. Fong Ping counted the IOUs one by one. Rank 9. That started at 100 billion. More than 10 rank 9s had all written IOUs. Rank 8s were much less, ranging from tens of billions. Rank 7s, about 10 billion. Many of these people had written IOUs because of the divine weapon incident last time. This time, it was even more. The final calculation was close to 3 trillion. Fong Ping kept these IOUs and suddenly looked at Nan Yunyue. Nan Yunyue was a little uneasy. Fong Ping chuckled. Chief Nan, it's actually just a hobby. You know that I especially like to collect these. You see, Nan Yunyue was helpless. Yes, it could only be considered a hobby. Just the Grandmaster's present already owed a huge sum of 3 trillion. Where could they return it? This was not real money. It was equivalent resources. 3 trillion. 30 rank, 9 divine weapons. Where could they find it? Fong Ping said it was a hobby. For a moment, many Grandmasters were really ashamed. There was no other way. They were short of money and could not afford to return it. They could only be debtors for once. Nan Yunyue sighed and said, How much? Up to you. Fill in a number. 3 to 5 trillion is not too little. Nan Yunyue sighed again. She did not waste time and filled in a 3 trillion IOU. Fong Ping took it, grinning from ear to ear. He had gotten his first paragon, IOU. As for old Zhang, this shameless guy had taken away many of his things. He never wrote IOUs. Zhang Tao saw this and coughed softly. All right, everyone else can go out. Fong Ping, you guys stay? Paragons also needed their dignity. How did this kid Fong Ping cultivate? After they left, he could not ask Nan Yunyue for the IOU. Did he have to ask in front of everyone? If he did not give face, he would suffer sooner or later. After the others left, seeing that Li Changsheng was still there, Zhang Tao did not say anything. Now that Li Changsheng was not here, Fong Ping still had to say it later. Ignoring old man Li, Zhang Tao asked, Did you really enter the bounded domain? Minister, you didn't know? Fong Ping said in surprise. Didn't you call that senior? I even introduced myself, but before I could finish, you disconnected. Zhang Tao's face darkened. Do you really think I'm a god? How am I supposed to make a call when we're separated by a domain? That was the self-reaction of the split body, equivalent to a predetermined program. If you don't use it and don't destroy it, I can still feel some things when I take it back. In the end, it was destroyed by you. How would I know what was going on? Fong Ping understood now. So that was how it was. Fong Ping chuckled. It's all right, Minister. I've added on a self-introduction for you, saying that you're the guardian of humanity. The seniors in the bounded boundaries are quite happy. I was so happy that I imparted the cultivation technique to you. So, strictly speaking, This cultivation technique is still mine. Zhang Tao added. His words almost choked Fang Ping to death. Zhang Tao seemed to know what he wanted to say. He smiled and said, "Let's not talk about other things first. Let's talk about us. If I make a move, I'll give you 1 trillion. You don't have any objections, do you?" Previously, Imperial Sea Mountain, the three of us at the pinnacle acted for you, with our true bodies. It's not too much, is it? That's 7 trillion. However, you did it to save everyone, so your contribution is still very big. But they also wrote you an IOU, so the imperishable substance is considered even. For your contribution this time, I'll reward you 2 trillion. 2 trillion, 20 rank, 9 divine weapons. This is probably Sino Nation's biggest reward. Based on this, you still owe us 5 trillion. As for Ji Yao's rank 9 divine weapon, the perishment blossoms that Nan Yunhua killed, and the imperishable essence, you can hand them over first. Let's make it 1 trillion. You've overestimated the value of these things. I've already tacitly agreed that they're yours. You should be satisfied with this. Nan Yunhua's 3 trillion. I've returned it on her behalf. Based on this, you still owe me 1 trillion. However, you've also taken a risk in the bounded boundaries. You've even saved a few people from the Chun family. Guardian Chun helped out previously, so half of the cost is considered free. Based on this, we're even. Zhang Tao laughed. Give me the divine weapons and the perishment blossoms. Fang Ping was dumbfounded. This accounting, Li Zhen was also extremely impressed. Evil people needed evil people to deal with them. Look, after old Zhang came back with just a few words, this bastard Fang Ping was scared out of his wits. Zhang Tao even knew that Fang Ping might use the cultivation method to scheme. As soon as Fang Ping's voice fell, he had already set up an ambush. That cultivation method was actually passed on to him. He was just using Fang Ping to pass it on to him. Fang Ping's expression darkened. Li Hansong and the rest did not say a word. They sat and watched the two great villains fight. Fang Ping wanted to say more, but Zhang Tao said sternly, "Actually, I've let go of a profitable deal previously. 12 giant mines, a bunch of rank, 9 divine weapons, a true king's ultimate art for me to choose. I just want your life." Fang Ping, I'm not trying to scare you. This is the condition that King Huai and the rest offered. Think about it. If I sell you, won't I not be short of resources at all? So this time's loss, you have to share half of it. That's 6 giant mines. Fang Ping was so angry that his face turned purple. So, I still owe you a few trillion? However, you're a hero. I've always treated you like my grandson. No matter what, I won't do such a thing. Zhang Tao sighed and said, "It's a pity that I can't do it alone. Can I hold up the sky for you all by myself?" Zhang Tao sighed and said, "No matter how strong I am, what can I do if I fight 1 against 3 or 5? Even if I kill 3 or 5 true kings, what can I do? Now, only when everyone is like a dragon and everyone is strong can there be a chance to resist the catacombs and save your life." Zhang Tao sighed and said, "Forget it. In order to save you, tell me in detail about the bounded domain first. We'll discuss the cultivation method later and see if it's useful. As for the debt, it's just a joke. You said that I'm the guardian of mankind, so it's only natural that I protect you." Fang Ping was about to cry. He was so touched. Old Zhang really knows how to talk. How shameless. I didn't even offer a price. You've already said everything that needs to be said. What else can I do now? To think that I thought you were short-sighted and that a price of 1 trillion was nothing. You've been waiting for me all along. This impromptu strength. I can't even refute it. Seeing Fang Ping's expression, everyone sighed. The older, the wiser. Zhang Tao won. Of course, The key was still strength because Fang Ping could not speak now. Yes, he could not speak. Even the touched look on his face was fake. It was forced out. F***CK. I'm convinced. I'm really convinced. At this moment, Fang Ping was completely convinced. There was only one way to deal with old Zhang, and that was to beat him up. Otherwise, even if you could out-talk him, he could make you speechless. This was strength. This was too much. After a while, Fang Ping could speak again. His expression was a little listless. He said gloomily, "Minister, don't do this next time." Zhang Tao did not seem to understand. He said impatiently, "Get to the point." Fang Ping had no choice but to start narrating. More than 10 minutes later, Zhang Tao frowned. "You didn't see anyone?" "No. To be able to trigger a reaction from my split body, he must have the strength of a peak. It's hard to say if he's alive." Zhang Tao said casually. Beside him, Li Zhen replied, "That's right. It's hard to say if he's alive. He might even be inextinguishable mentality." Nan Yunyue said lightly, "You guys already know that as long as his mentality is not extinguished, he is not considered dead. When we kill the catacombs martial artists, we have to destroy their mentality. If a powerhouse's physical body is destroyed, but his mentality is not extinguished, at this time, he can actually reform his physical body. Of course, if his physical body is completely destroyed, he will only be left with an inextinguishable mentality. At this time, it will be difficult to recover." Li Zhen said again, "But the existence of mentality means that there is still hope for recovery. Lake of Eternity. Lake of Eternity may actually be the place these people use to recover their physical bodies, or even..." Li Zhen hesitated for a moment. "Or even the Lake of Eternity may be some of the inextinguishable substances left behind after their physical bodies died. They did not come back to life. Instead, they went into hibernation and recovery, waiting to recover their strongest combat strength. The few peerless powerhouses were experienced and knowledgeable. In a moment, they had sorted out these matters." Zhang Tao also nodded slightly. That coercion might be mentality coercion. It could also be origin Dao coercion. This is hard to confirm, but it's actually the same. Origin Dao coercion and mentality coercion are fundamentally different, but it can be controlled autonomously. This means that this half-dead powerhouse exists with a consciousness. Actually, I have thought about it before. It should be like this. In this way, some things can be explained. As he said this, he glanced at Li Zhen. If there really was such an intelligent creature in the boundary zone, then even if the origins of the elders of Star Town were unknown, the martial arts inheritance might have a root. Previously, he did not know too much. He only knew some insider information. It was Li Zhen, the trader of Star Town, who told him. But Li Zhen might not know too much. Now that Fang Ping and the others had personally experienced it and proved some things, it could be used as evidence. Zhang Tao suddenly sighed. "Thank you, seniors, for not forgetting the survival of humanity. But why did you not let humans enter before? So much so that..." Li Zhen said softly, "It might not be that they were not allowed to enter. Perhaps they had truly entered a dormant period before." As soon as these words came out, Zhang Tao reacted. He murmured, "That's true. It's been so many years. If they were repairing their bodies before, then they might have truly entered a period of nirvana. No wonder you did not encounter such a situation when you entered before. It seems that their period of awakening is not continuous. Before, we can only say that they were unlucky. Those who entered did not encounter the seniors who awakened." As soon as he said this, Zhang Tao humphed. "Since they are awake, the danger is not great. Then, how did that person die?" Li Zhen did not speak. Nan Yunyue said calmly, coveting the second path, coveting the origin, coveting the pure, immortal substance of the new body, coveting everything, then there is an explanation. But some things let the past be the past. At this moment, the several people confirmed many things. In the boundary zone, if coercion existed, then it meant that the danger was not great. The coercion of the boundary zone was actually only to drive some people away and kill the catacombs martial artists. They did not necessarily have the heart to kill humans. Previously, Qin Fengqin and Li Hansong accidentally entered. Perhaps this was the case. Fang Ping actually understood a lot of things. He said suddenly, if that's the case, when Qin Fengqin and the others were thrown out, them... Zhang Tao smiled faintly. Didn't you say that only Qin Fengqin had entered before? Fang Ping was embarrassed. How long had it been? How could he still remember? Now, he was picking on his loophole. Ignoring old Zhang, Fang Ping calculated. If that's the case, it might be because everyone did not have mentality projection at that time, so they could not accept the inheritance and were thrown out. If I had known this would happen, what a pity! I should have gone in and tried that day. Zhang Tao said again, how could you enter? Although the boundary zone may not have the intention to harm people, it definitely has the intention to guard against people. Those who are not descendants of the boundary zone or disciples should not be able to enter it. Fang Ping, you said you entered Xuanda Grotto Heaven. You can enter Su Ling Grotto Heaven too. Kid, don't you think it's time for you to say something? Fang Ping said without batting an eyelid. Before I was resurrected, I should have gathered the strengths of hundreds of schools and learned their cultivation methods. Or these cultivation methods. The cultivation methods of different boundaries could all originate from me. This will depend on when I am a reincarnated martial artist. If I was in front of the boundary zone, then it means that all the boundary zone came from my inheritance. If I was in front of the boundary zone, then it means that I was a genius in the past, integrating the strengths of hundreds of schools. Minister, are you satisfied with this explanation? Zhang Tao smiled. Satisfied, very satisfied. You are the celestial emperor. Naturally, you are omnipotent. Inheriting from you is also reasonable. Li Zhan and Nan Yunyue felt like they were listening to a heavenly book. These two fellows, could they talk about this? Could they even explain it? As expected, Zhang Tao did not pursue this matter anymore. He smiled and said, you went to the boundary zone, and this time you did collect a lot of useful information for us. You are the person involved, so I won't hide it from you. There might really be some powerhouses in the boundary zone, but they should be the half-crippled and half-dead kind. Actually, they can't leave the boundary zone, or if they do, they might be targeted and their origin devoured. In order to protect themselves, these powerhouses sealed off the boundary zone. But I believe that they still care about humans and have made a lot of sacrifices for this. Perhaps for more than 2,000 years, it was mainly these people who were protecting us. Of course, I dare not be sure, and I have no way of confirming it. I think you have also heard some things. The old ancestors of Star Town, maybe, are their successors. I still dare not be sure about this. But now, there is no need to look into this. The news you brought back has given us a lot of hope and expectation. These seniors might really be completely resurrected, otherwise you might not be able to see them this time. After the resurrection, humans will have some more top powerhouses. Of course, we must also be prepared. We can't always think of things as good as we can. Zhang Tao said a lot. Fang Ping listened attentively. After he finished, he said, there are a total of 8 intact boundary zones in Sino Nation. Does this mean that there are still 8 seniors still alive? Maybe. As Zhang Tao said that, he suddenly looked deeply at Li Zhan and said lightly, The place that Li Jun went to in the past, there is no longer any pressure. Of course, he did not manage to explore to the end. The boundary zone is still sealed, which means that it might not be resurrected, but it still exists. It might have already been resurrected, or even come back to life. Fang Ping's pupils shrank. Li Jun said in a low voice, "Zhang Tao, don't make wild guesses." Zhang Tao laughed. "It's nothing to make wild guesses. Let's not talk about this. Fang Ping, I told you all this because I hope that you will understand more." Fang Ping suddenly said, "Do the seniors know how to take over bodies?" "Get lost," Zhang Tao suddenly scolded. He was speechless. "You have nothing better to do. Stop reading all these strange stories. Take over." When a desperation realms mentality enters your body, it is not taking over, but you will explode. Take over. If I die, my mentality will not be extinguished. With your weak physique, why would I want to come? In this time, my own mentality can give birth to a body that is the same as my origin. What use do I have for you? To think that you can think of it, and to think that you are a rank 7 martial artist. Can mentality and physique of different origins fuse? Nonsense. Zhang Tao scolded for a while, then scolded, "Read less of these things in the future. Don't let your imagination run wild and scare yourself. Martial artists only cultivate themselves, not the other way. Those who walk the second way have no other choice. Otherwise, they will not walk it. There is only one way among all paths. This is the essence of cultivation." Li Changxing's unification of 10,000 paths is in line with this philosophy. Unfortunately, his unification of 10,000 paths is not complete. This is why his vitality is constantly draining away. He was a powerful genius, but now he has become a complete waste. Old Man Li was just beside him. He humped when he heard that, saying slowly, "I killed 2 rank 9s. Zhang Tao snorted, saying lightly, "I can find the catacombs, King, to exchange for the life essence and imperishable substances that you spent for 2 rank 9s, dead or alive. You believe me?" Old Man Li looked embarrassed. There was nothing wrong with what he said. With the Catacombs King's character, if he really wanted to exchange, the probability of him agreeing was not small. Old Man Li was devastated. He was a little listless. Old Zhang's ability to cut people's hearts was much better than Fang Ping's. Fang Ping had never thought about this. Look at old Zhang. As expected, evil people will be tortured by evil people. At this moment, Li Jun and Nan Yunyue laughed. No matter how much the troublemakers of martial arts universities tried, when it came to Zhang Tao, they would be put out after 3, 2, 1. Old schemer Zhang Tao. This nickname was not wrong. Compared to Zhang Tao, these people were still a little green. Li Hansong and the rest were silent. If they did not speak, Fang Ping and Old Man Li, these 2 powerful people, were no match for him. It was better for them not to speak and ask for abuse. Zhang Tao was not in the mood to attack them. These are all off topic. Let's not talk about it for now. Bring us the animal skin book and the crystal book first. As for the cultivation methods that you and Li Hansong have memorized, it's not too late to talk about it later. Fang Ping did not speak. Seeing that Li Jun seemed to be laughing at him, he snorted in his heart and threw a piece of paper straight at Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao glanced at it, then glanced at Li Jun. "Where's the book?" Li Jun, bang. Without another word, Li Jun slapped Fang Ping directly into the ground. He had tolerated this bastard for too long. Now he had to beat him up. "Where's the book?" "Here it is." Fang Ping did not hesitate either. All the books appeared immediately. He felt an inexplicable sadness in his heart. His strength was not as good as others. If he was a paragon, with this piece of paper, he could trick Li Jun until he cried. Now, The paragon did not reason with him. He only asked if he would take it out or not. Old Zhang, Li Shun, these two paragons bullied me. Fang Ping glanced at Nan Yunyue from the corner of his eye. I did you a big favor, but you did not even offer to help. The three of them ignored him and started reading their books. Of course, Zhang Tao did something sneaky. He kept the piece of paper directly and did not return it to Li Jun. Perhaps he was planning to blackmail Li Jun later. Beside him, Li Hansong sighed. Today, Fang Ping was completely defeated. He had worshipped Fang Ping before. Now that he thought about it, strength was still the most important. Strength was the way of the king. No, domineering. No matter how good his mouth was, it was still just a mouth. Think about it. Fang Ping had it so bad. He was wanted by the catacombs, bullied by old Zhang, slapped into the ground by Li Shun. Forget it. In the future, he would focus on martial arts and become stronger. He did not need to learn Fang Ping's tricks. Fang Ping ignored him and looked at old man Li. You're not going to help me? Li Changsheng closed his eyes and rested. Don't look at me. It's useless to look at you. You're in trouble now. I can't handle it anymore. You're always talking about paragons. I'm already so old. I don't want to be buried with you. After an unknown amount of time, Zhang Tao said softly, I've underestimated the martial artists of the ancient martial era. They have their own specialties. They might not be stronger than us in combat, but some of their tricks are not weak. At least we can't create a seal like the one in the bounded zone. If we could put it at the entrance of the catacombs. That would be much easier. What a pity. Minister, stop lamenting. What are these books talking about? Some basic knowledge, including the cultivation methods of the 3 middle ranks and 3 lower ranks. It's useless even if you know this. The useful ones are those crystal books. Out of the 10 crystal books, 6 are martial arts related knowledge, and the other 4 are relatively important information. Fang Ping was speechless. Fang Ping was speechless. If I remember correctly, these 2 are all about gossip. Was that important? Zhang Tao ignored him and continued. The 6 crystal books record in detail the future cultivation paths of rank 6 martial artists. After rank 6, how should we go? First, normal cultivation, which is to cultivate mentality and physique at the same time. Second, focus on cultivating mentality, with the physique as a supplement. Third, focus on cultivating the physique, with mentality as a supplement. Fourth, unite all paths, which is Li Changsheng's path. This is the cultivation method of a genius. Rank 6 golden body is at least comparable to the strength of a first refinement golden body. Use the golden body to fuse mentality, completely fusing mentality into the golden body. Fifth, unite all paths, which is also the path of a genius. Before rank 7, mentality materializes and vitality force fuses with mentality. In other words, vitality force is converted into mentality, and mentality is mainly used for attacking. Zhang Tao glanced at Yao Qingjun and Fang Ping, saying, if both of you lived in the ancient martial era, you should be able to take this path. What about the last path? Zhang Tao pondered for a moment, saying, the last one? I'm not too sure. The book doesn't explain it very clearly. In general, it's to cultivate the internal and then the external, with the internal as the main and the external as a supplement. Zhang Tao gave a brief explanation, saying the book's introduction is actually quite simple. This is also just a choice for rank 6 martial artists. Let's see which path the rank 6 martial artists will choose in the end. If they choose, then it's settled. The book does have some ways to help you walk this path. This is still quite useful for middle-rank martial artists. Xuan de Grotto Heaven is very inclusive, listing all the cultivation methods. Unlike Li Jun, who brought back useless books. Zhang Tao said, giving Li Zhan a blow. He continued, Xuanda Grotto Heaven gave its disciples 6 cultivation methods. This means that they might have all kinds of cultivation methods. Beside him, Li Zhan frowned slightly. In my opinion, Xuanda Grotto Heaven may not be as strong as other grotto heavens. Too many means not being proficient, not being focused. Zhang Tao. Actually, I'd rather Xuanda Grotto Heaven only have 1 cultivation method. Zhang Tao sighed softly. Naturally, he knew this. However, things had come to this. Was he still going to be picky? In the next moment, Zhang Tao looked at Fang Ping and Li Hansong, saying in a low voice, both of you might have inherited 2 different cultivation methods, or maybe 2 of the 6 paths. Fang Ping was instantly overjoyed. There was no other reason. At that time, he was looking for a cultivation method that combined 10,000 paths into one. However, logically speaking, Old Yao should have obtained a cultivation method that specialized in mentality. Why did he not? Could it be that the senior in the bounded domain was not a powerhouse in this aspect? Xuanda Grotto Heaven's powerhouse, who specialized in mentality cultivation methods, had fallen. At this moment, Fang Ping had a bad feeling. Li Hansong might have obtained a cultivation method that specialized in the physique. This could be seen from the test. The senior in Xuanda Grotto Heaven might have been a powerhouse who specialized in the physique. No matter what, Fang Ping still hoped that it would be effective. Even if Xuanda Grotto Heaven's cultivation method might not be the strongest in everyone's eyes at this moment, Fang Ping did not need it to be the strongest. In fact, the cultivation of the cultivation method still needed a hint. Grasping this hint, the few paragons present might be able to deduce a more powerful and focused cultivation method. Please remember this book's original domain name. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor Mobile Version Website. Chapter 683. In the side hall, Zhang Tao and the others settled these chores first. Soon, the 3 desperation realms looked at Fang Ping and Li Hansong at the same time. Cultivation methods. Core cultivation methods. This was the most important thing. It was also what the apex really valued. Other things, be it a rank 9 divine weapon or an imperishable substance, these people did not care about it for themselves, but for others. Cultivation methods, on the other hand, were hard to say. The martial artists of the neo-martial era relied on the methods of honing to forcefully cultivate to the apex. This kind of achievement had never been seen before. The most basic cultivation method allowed these people to advance to the apex in just a few decades, entering the realm of the apex powerhouses even in the ancient martial era. As for the more advanced cultivation methods, like Fang Ping, they had a short time. Even the apex could not cultivate and waste a lot of time deducing and experimenting at the same time. The 3 of them looked at Fang Ping and Li Hansong. Fang Ping glanced at Li Hansong and said quickly, ask about the ironhead cultivation method first. If there's an accident, he'll be a little more stubborn. Li Hansong smiled foolishly. Beside him, Old Man Li kicked Fang Ping. In fact, there were some things that everyone knew in their hearts. Being stubborn was just an excuse. Fang Ping did not actually care about the cultivation method, but he was worried that if the cultivation method was destroyed, Old Man Li would not have a chance. As for the other cultivation methods, if they were gone, so be it. Even if the mentality cultivation method was gone, it was not a big deal. If the myriad unification cultivation method was gone, then Old Man Li could only continue in this state. Once he lost Fang Ping's support, he would die at any time. Li Hansong laughed foolishly and said, then I'll go first. This cultivation method, I think it's a little troublesome to say it out loud. It's a long tongue twister. I think it's more convenient to use mentality to communicate. "Minister, should I use mentality to communicate with you?" As soon as he said this, Zhang Tao smiled. Then there's some hope. Ancient martial artists pay a lot of attention to cultivation methods. The powerhouse's cultivation methods are only passed down to the core disciples. They won't be recorded in books. Mentality transmission is more in line with this. As he said this, Zhang Tao was slightly nervous. He took a deep breath and said, "Li Shun, Nan Yunyue, both of you be careful. Ancient martial artists have many tricks up their sleeves." Later, when Li Hansong passes down the cultivation method, both of you keep an eye on his mentality and protect his core item to prevent any accidents. Both of them nodded. The atmosphere in the side chamber instantly became tense. It was really stagnant. At this moment, Fong Ping felt extremely pressured. The three paragons were all ready to strike. The invisible pressure pressed down on him so hard that he could barely breathe. The few paragons were all like that. This made Fong Ping understand even more clearly how important cultivation techniques were. "Begin." The smile on Zhang Tao's face was gone, replaced by a serious expression. "Tell me everything without missing a single word." Before he could finish, Li Hansong's psychic energy gushed out and surged towards him. The corner of Zhang Tao's mouth twitched. "Why is this kid so impatient? I'm not done yet." Although he was cursing, Zhang Tao also quickly released his spiritual force and contacted Li Hansong. Li Jun and the other man were vigilantly watching Li Hansong's spiritual fluctuations, worried that the ancient martial arts practitioner would set some restrictions. Modern martial artists did not have many methods to restrict martial artists. At most, his mental strength could suppress and imprison him for a moment, but after a period of time, his mental strength would naturally dissipate. However, ancient martial art practitioners were able to create a domain that even the pinnacle feared. This was the difference between the two sides. Fong Ping kept his eyes on Li Hansong. At this moment, he did not dare to use his mentality to test anything, just in case something unexpected happened. However, the cultivation technique transmission was relatively calm. After about 10 minutes, Zhang Tao slowly retracted his mentality. Li Hansong also looked relaxed. He grinned and said, "It's fine. Thank you, Senior." Zhang Tao ignored him and saluted in the direction of West Mountain. He sighed slightly in relief. There are no restrictions. It is indeed a cultivation technique inheritance. It seems that the senior from Xuanda Grotto has already prepared to transmit it. I'm impressed. Zhang Tao sighed. He was indeed impressed. Ancient martial artists attached great importance to cultivation technique inheritance. They were not martial artists of the neo-martial era and had not experienced everything in the neo-martial era. To spread one's cultivation technique was something that could not be done without great courage. Li Jun and the others also saluted in the direction of West Mountain. Soon, Li Jun asked, "What cultivation technique is it?" "Golden Body 9 forging techniques." Before Zhang Tao could finish, everyone's expression changed. Li Jun and Nan Yunyue obviously looked disappointed. Golden Body 9 forging techniques. As soon as they heard the name, both of them knew that it was related to the cultivation of the golden body or the cultivation of the physique. However, this was not what they wanted. Even if they had some guesses before, when it really happened, everyone still felt an indescribable feeling in their hearts. Zhang Tao laughed. "What's wrong? It's just a name. Why don't you think about it?" "Since I'm teaching you how to perform the Golden Body 9 forging, there must be a way to increase the strength of your golden body and a way to cultivate the imperishable substance. Otherwise, how do you forge the golden body?" It's true. At this moment, everyone was excited. Even Li Jun and Nan Yunyue were so excited that the chairs they were sitting on broke into pieces. However, Considering that there were still a few juniors around, the chairs reformed in the blink of an eye. Fong Ping glanced at them and snickered in his heart. It seemed like there were also times when they lost control of their strength. If they had the ability to solidify the chairs, they would have solidified the chairs. Otherwise, they would still shatter. Once solidified, it would be a treasure. He would have to take it away later. Fong Ping decided that he would keep his eyes on these 2 chairs after the event. If the 2 paragons cared about their pride, they might solidify them. Ignoring this, Fong Ping asked excitedly, "Minister, this golden body 9 forging can forge the imperishable substance." Zhang Tao saw his excitement and hesitated. He said slowly, "Don't rush. This probably won't be very useful for the unification of 10,000 daos." As soon as he said this, Fong Ping's expression changed slightly. However, Fong Ping relaxed very quickly. He smiled. "I'm not in a hurry. I still have more." Old Man Li said lazily, "Maybe you two are the same. Don't mind it too much. Be normal. It's good that you don't have cultivation methods. With cultivation methods, this old man will cultivate to the peak. Who knows, you might dare to provoke a monarch." Fong Ping smiled and did not say anything. Zhang Tao said slowly, "Golden body 9 forging." Fong Ping said suddenly, "Minister, I have to interrupt." "How do you know?" Zhang Tao smiled faintly. "There's nothing a paragon can't do." Nan Yunyue was a little impatient. She said exasperatedly, "Stop talking nonsense. What do you mean by there's nothing you can't do? Go create your own cultivation method. Do you need to ask for help?" Nan Yunyue snorted, her face full of displeasure. This Zhang Tao guy had enough. He had been pretending from the beginning until now. Ignoring Zhang Tao, Nan Yunyue looked at Fong Ping and said, "Ancient martial artists use the ancient language. Plus, they have a slight accent. It's normal that you can't understand. You'll understand after a few more encounters. Our mentality is strong, and we've always wanted to find ancient martial arts cultivation methods. That's why we've done some research before." Fong Ping understood. He lowered his head and gave old Zhang a disdainful look. Why did he have to pretend? Zhang Tao did not care about this. He said with a smile, "All right, these are off topic. Let's get down to business." Zhang Tao said with a smile, "Golden body 9 forging sounds like a golden body cultivation method. In reality, it's not. This is a complete set of cultivation methods." However, Zhang Tao said softly, "However, only rank 7 can cultivate it. I kind of understand now. During the ancient martial arts era, only rank 7 can be considered a true core disciple. Looks like there were many powerhouses back then." Golden Body 9 Forging talks about how to build the strength of the body from rank 7 onwards. It focuses on the body and supplements mentality. Mentality. Interesting. As Zhang Tao said this, his eyes revealed a hint of contemplation. No one interrupted him, letting him think. After a while, Zhang Tao murmured, "Although it's only a minor mentality, once one method is mastered, 100 methods will be mastered. So that's how it is. We can only rely on vitality to supplement mentality. We can't actively cultivate it ourselves. So our thinking was wrong. Cultivating the body is actually a process of strengthening the circulation of vitality. The strength of vitality comes from the strength of the body. The body is actually the source of vitality. As for mentality, we've always been thinking of using vitality to strengthen mentality. We've forgotten the source of mentality." Beside him, Li Jun frowned slightly. "You mean the brain nucleus?" Zhang Tao exhaled softly. "Yes, the brain nucleus. Is the brain nucleus the source of mentality? Actually, this has not been proven. Whether it is or not, even you and I can't say for sure. Moreover, The brain nucleus is located in the brain. It's similar to the Sanjiao gate in between reality and illusion. When some people die, they stay, but some don't. Before this, we've been thinking about how to hone our mentality and how to make it tough. We actually didn't think about the problem of the brain nucleus. Li Jun frowned. It's not that we didn't think about it. The Cultivation Techniques Research Institute has also given me many suggestions. One of them is about the brain nucleus. The key is that there are a few difficulties that haven't been solved. First, there's no way to locate it. Even I, whose control over my body has reached an extreme, can't clearly sense the location of the brain nucleus. If I can't do it, how can anyone else locate the location of the brain nucleus? Second, it's dangerous. The brain nucleus is the carrier of mentality. Once something goes wrong, it may lose all its functions and become a living dead. You and I don't dare to try to locate it by force and probe. If others can't find it, naturally there's no way to explore the cultivation method of the brain nucleus. Zhang Tao glanced at him and smiled. Why are you in such a hurry to explain? I didn't say you're useless. You should just disband that Cultivation Techniques Research Institute of yours. I let you lead the cultivation techniques research because I hoped that you would bring some cultivation techniques from Star Town as a reference. It's been so many years, and there's no result at all. I'll return it to you. Enough! Nan Yunyue suddenly roared, her face pale with anger. She said furiously, "Is this the time to talk nonsense? If you too want to talk nonsense, do it after we're done talking about the cultivation techniques. Stop talking nonsense. I don't have that much time to listen to your nonsense." Fang Ping and the others also had a look of agreement on their faces. That was right. At this time, old Zhang was halfway through talking about the cultivation techniques, and he was actually making sarcastic remarks about Li Jun. How unreliable was that? Zhang Tao chuckled. I'm happy. Once I'm happy, I talk more. All right, let's not talk about this. I'll continue talking about the cultivation techniques. I already understand the foundation of mentality during the ancient martial era, that is to cultivate the brain nucleus. As a carrier, the strength and sturdiness of the brain nucleus is the foundation of the strengthening of mentality. The greatest achievement of an ancient martial artist is to find the location of the brain nucleus. Based on this foundation, they cultivate and stabilize the brain nucleus so that it can bear a stronger mentality. The intertwining of mentality and vitality force can hone the body. When the body has been honed to a certain degree, the intertwining of the golden body strength, mentality, and vitality force can give birth to an indestructible substance. Zhang Tao's smile widened as he continued. As for the golden body 9 forging techniques, the reason why it is said that it mainly cultivates one's physical body is because it mainly talks about how to channel one's mental energy and blood qi into one's body and convert them into physical strength. As Zhang Tao spoke, he pondered for a moment before continuing, I'll be more direct. Different materials are produced when the ratio is different. Because the ratio of saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal is different, the products produced are also different. Some can become gunpowder. Fang Ping said helplessly, Minister, we're not primary school students anymore. We're a group of high-ranked martial artists. As for you, just continue with what you're saying. We can understand. You're the Minister of Education. You're not bluffing. Old Zhang's hobby of teaching others was sometimes a headache. Nan Yunyue and Li Jun had helpless looks on their faces. What did this fellow think they were? Did he need to explain it bit by bit? Zhang Tao chuckled. I'll make it clearer, just in case someone doesn't understand. Li Hansong, am I right? Li Hansong put on an innocent and honest face. I want to say no. I'm the Gaokao champion. How can I not understand? However, old Zhang wanted a way out. His gaze was scary, so Li Hansong said obediently, "Yes, Minister, I can only understand if you explain it in detail. Otherwise, I won't understand." Everyone rolled their eyes. Ironhead's ability to sail with the wind. If you said he was a fool, then you were the real fool. Listen to this bootlicking. Zhang Tao was very satisfied. He smiled. This is the cultivation method that the senior gave to Li Hansong, probably hoping that he can cultivate it and pass it down. I still have to follow the master's wishes and explain it clearly so that Li Hansong can understand. After saying that, without giving the others a chance to speak, Zhang Tao quickly said, "The ratio of mentality and vitality force is different, so the power produced is not the same. 1:10 ratio will produce celestiality. This is the most commonly used and also the main power we use. However, celestiality doesn't have the effect of strengthening mentality and vitality force. Celestiality can't be reflected back to the body. This is a kind of expendable power. In fact, it's a mistake in the ratio. If the ratio is correct, vitality force and mentality can both be strengthened and reflected back to the body. Reflecting back mentality. Reflecting back to the body, this is the essence of ancient martial artists' research on power. After Zhang Tao said so much, everyone understood. Soon, Zhang Tao said again, "The 9 golden body forging technique talks about using the most vitality force and the least mentality to hone the body's strength. The ratio of celestiality, mentality, and vitality force is 1:10. But when this ratio is changed to 100 through a special conversion method, we can use it to temper our body, build the strength of the body, and even achieve the golden body. After the golden body, we can add on the power of the golden body to forge the immortal substance and continue to temper the body. At this time, the barrier of the realm will be broken by the powerful physical strength. This is a martial artist who specializes in the cultivation of the body. Most of the time, some things can be broken through by just a thin membrane." When Zhang Tao mentioned this, Li Jun murmured, "So if you want to focus on psychic power, you should use the least amount of qi power to temper your brain core, right?" "That should be the case." "I see." Li Jun also came to a realization, but he hurriedly said, "Then how to locate the brain? You should know that even if one specializes in the cultivation of the body, they also need mentality to complement it." "That's right." Li Jun smiled and said, "In my opinion, the most important thing about the Golden Body 9 forging technique is nothing else but the method to locate the brain. The brain lies between reality and illusion. I'm afraid you've never thought of where the brain is." Zhang Tao's eyes flickered. Between reality and illusion, other than the brain, what else is there? Sanjiao Gate. I've never considered this question before. I've been blinded by it. The brain is actually not located in the brain. After death, it appears in the brain. It can only be said that it has turned from nothingness into reality, a kind of location shift. The real brain is located in the Sanjiao Gate. What? The few of them were beyond shocked. How could that be? It's true. Of course, we can try to locate it later. Zhang Tao did not say much. He continued, "When we break through to rank 7, the Sanjiao Gate will sit on the celestial bridge, arranged in a straight line. In the past, we didn't think too much about it, so we missed out on a lot of important information. Now, I can tell you that the celestial bridge is not necessarily a bridge. We've always pursued the introversion of strength so that we don't lose any strength. That bridge connects directly to both sides. How can it be introverted? It's the exact opposite. This is wrong. We need to return to the origin, to restore the unfolded celestial bridge to the circle when we were rank 5. Circle is the characteristic of the cycle of strength. At this time, the Sanjiao Gate will be arranged in a triangular shape. The flow of strength will pass through the circular celestial bridge, passing through the Sanjiao Gate. Repeating the cycle, at this time, when we unleash our full power, you'll realize that vaguely at the center of the circle, something will appear, but it's extremely illusory. This is the brain. The brain is actually a projection of the Sanjiao Gate and the celestial bridge. At the beginning, it's incomparably illusory. At this time, we can use the Sanjiao Gate and the celestial bridge to supply strength to hone the brain. As Zhang Tao spoke, Fang Ping's expression suddenly stiffened. After he spoke for a while, Fang Ping gulped and said softly, Department head, what is it? My celestial bridge is similar to what you said. A big circle, a big round pancake. Old Manly added. Fang Ping was speechless. He continued, I'm a circle, and the Sanjiao Gate is also arranged in a triangular shape, but I don't think I've ever sensed the appearance of the brain. Is there something wrong with me? After he said that, a few of them remembered. Zhang Tao frowned slightly. Release it again for us to see. Because Fang Ping's celestial bridge and Sanjiao Gate were arranged differently from others, he rarely released this. Ever since he had the materialized object, he did not release the Sanjiao Gate anymore. At this time, Fang Ping immediately released the 3 gates on the golden pancake. Seeing this scene, the corners of the few paragons' mouths twitched. Strange situations like this in MCMAU were emerging one after another. The Qin Fengqing outside was also amazing. He had the celestial bridge, but his celestial golden egg, and there was even a tree planted on the golden egg. Fang Ping was also strange, but his celestial bridge was a kind of compression of strength. Everyone could still see this. Zhang Tao watched for a while, then said in a low voice, Activate the Sanjiao Gate with all your strength, release the strength, and circulate it along the celestial bridge. Zhang Tao guided bit by bit, and Fang Ping also followed suit. At this time, the 3 gates began to tremble continuously. The 3 gates were arranged in a triangular formation, the main gate facing the center of the circle. On the golden pancake, strength began to gather densely. This went on for 4 to 5 minutes. In the sky above the center of the pancake, which was also the center of gravity of the Sanjiao Gate's triangular formation, a small, weak light spot appeared. The brain nucleus. Everyone was wild with joy. The brain nucleus had really appeared. Zhang Tao and the others looked at each other. After a while, Zhang Tao suddenly complained. So what he cultivated is the right one? His weird celestial bridge and Sanjiao Gate actually don't need to be arranged anymore, and they can directly pull out the brain nucleus. Li Zhen and Nan Yunyue also did not know whether to laugh or cry. Fang Ping, who had been mocked countless times previously, turned out to be right. There was no justice in this world. His brain nuclei were being tugged at. According to Zhang Tao, restoring the extended celestial bridge still required a lot of time. Only then could they think of a way to locate the location of the brain nucleus. Fang Ping, on the other hand, saved the trouble and directly located it. While the others didn't know whether to laugh or cry, Zhang Tao quickly said, The 9 refinements of the golden body doesn't say much about the tempering of the brain, but it does say that the Sanjiao Gate corresponds to spiritual power, vitality power, and life power. You can use strength to permeate and hone the brain nucleus through the Sanjiao Gate. Try it. Without needing him to say anything, Fang Ping had already started trying. The 3 gates were originally sealed, but now they were wide open. A rank 7 could control the opening of the Sanjiao Gate. From the 3 gates, 3 types of strength seeped out and began to converge toward the illusory light spot in the middle. In that instant, the light spot suddenly brightened a little. Fang Ping's mentality was not strong, but at this moment, Fong Ping's eyes were frighteningly bright. His mentality limit had increased by 1 Hz. 1 Hz was very rare. However, he had just tried it, and it actually increased the limit by 1 Hz. If this continued, this was too scary. The joy in Fong Ping's eyes could not be concealed. Everyone else felt it. At this time, Li Jun could not help but laugh. If that's the case, the Golden Body 9 forging technique can actually hone the brain nucleus and increase mentality. Then it seems like we don't need to look for mentality cultivation methods anymore, although the Golden Body 9 forging technique mainly talked about using all kinds of strength to hone the flesh. It also explained the location of the brain nucleus. Everyone had already discovered an incomparably huge result. Once one method was understood, all methods would be understood. Locating the brain nucleus and making the brain nucleus stronger and stronger was the essence of mentality becoming stronger. After discovering the essence, was there still a need to look for cultivation methods again? Zhang Tao laughed. It's better if there's one, but it's fine if there's none. If I'm not wrong, the mentality cultivation method will probably hone the brain nucleus more specifically and not like this, honing with a mixture of strength. However, all these can be tried slowly. Most importantly, we've discovered a breakthrough point. The Sanjiao Gate can locate the brain nucleus. Ha ha! We've found the breakthrough point. At this moment, Zhang Tao was also overjoyed. Not only him, everyone present was wild with joy. However, very soon, Fong Ping frowned and mumbled, "No wonder it's not suitable for myriad Dao unification." Nonsense! Old Manly pretended to be 13 before, and he swallowed all of them in one go. Where could he locate the brain nucleus? If he could not locate the brain nucleus, how could he hone the brain nucleus? Moreover, he was not honing the brain nucleus at all. He was honing his vitality force. This cultivation method was suitable for everyone except Old Man Li. I hope mine is useful for Old Man Li. Fong Ping muttered in his heart. At this time, the few paragons were still laughing maniacally. This time, they did not have to care about anything else. A method of locating the brain nucleus had completely broken everything in the past. This was 10 times, 100 times more important than conquering the forbidden catacombs. P.S. Same rules later the next day. Sorry. Chapter 684. Global High Martial Arts update is not very stable. There will definitely be updates. Please wait a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 685. Everyone was excited and couldn't help but give it a try. Even the few desperate realms began to try to locate the brain nucleus at this time. In the end, after a while, Fong Ping looked indifferent. He held his head high and puffed out his chest. He did not put away the Celestial Bridge and Sanjiao Gate at all. His brain core, that was as weak as a firefly, was incomparably dazzling at this moment. Trash. Of course, Fong Ping did not say this out loud. It was what he was thinking. Even so, the look in his eyes still made the 3 apex experts want to hammer him to death. The bridge of heaven and earth and Sanjiao Gate of the 3 desperate realm experts were not much different from ordinary martial artists. The only difference was that the bridge of heaven and earth was too long, while the Sanjiao Gate was too big. But the more powerful they were, the harder it was to coil around them. It was extremely difficult for an extremity realm expert to turn the Sanjiao Gate and the Celestial Bridge into a ring. Humph! The few apex experts let out a cold snort. What was there to be arrogant about? You think we can't do it? I'll condense a brain the size of a wash basin and scare you to death. It was rare for Fang Ping to have a chance to show off, so he did it to the extreme. It was not until the three of them were glaring at him with hostility that Fang Ping let out a dry cough and kept the Celestial Bridge and the Sanjiao Gate. He asked curiously, "Ministers, your celestial bridges seem to be of different lengths. Is it because the path taken by the origin path is of different lengths?" Zhang Tao said reservedly, "It's a little related. You know what the bridge of heaven and earth is. It's a channel of power. The stronger one's power was, the stronger, longer, and wider the heavenly bridge would be. He had only released a miniature version of it. After all, the side hall was only so big. If I fully unleash it, my celestial bridge will be 5,000 meters long." Fang Ping calculated for a while. His celestial bridge was also a few hundred meters long. The difference was not too big. Of course, the celestial bridge was only a manifestation of power. It did not represent the long-term nature of the origin path. Fang Ping still understood this. Does that mean that old Zhang's strength is 10 times stronger than mine? That's nothing much. His vitality was only over 20,000 calories. The celestial bridge could more easily reflect the strength of his vitality. Did that not mean, Fang Ping asked immediately, "Minister, how many calories do you have in your vitality?" A golden body first refinement would have about 50,000 calories of vitality. Peak rank 8 and even early stage rank 9 would have 100,000 calories of vitality. A rank 9 comprehended the origin of Tao, unlike a rank 8 who spent all their time honing their bodies. A rank 9's vitality was not that strong either. How strong are the blood qi of these peak experts? Blood qi, Zhang Tao chuckled and said slowly, "We'll see. Below the peak, a rank 9 martial artist vitality is usually around 100,000 to 150,000. However, among the rank 9 powerhouses, some have very powerful physiques too. There are some who have around 200,000 calories vitality, but it's very rare. If it's at its peak, it'll be around 300,000 calories. Only 300,000 calories? Fang Ping murmured softly. It was much less than he had expected. Did he really think that the absolute peak could have a vitality of 1,000,000 cal? Old man Li often said that 1,000,000 cal vitality could defeat the best. From the looks of it now, if he really cultivated to 1,000,000 cal of vitality, he might really be able to beat the top, even if he did not comprehend any path. Pure, physical strength wasn't just 3 or 4 times stronger than a paragon. If his vitality was 3 or 4 times stronger than a paragon, it meant that his physical strength was at least 10 times stronger than a paragon's. The increase in strength and the strengthening of one's physical body was not just a matter of how many times one's vitality had increased. Fang Ping understood that the more vitality one had, the greater the pressure on the human body. At the limit of a rank 6 martial artist, their vitality could reach 10,000 cal. Now, Fang Ping only had more than 20,000 cal. Was his physique only twice that of a rank 6 martial artist? More than 10 times. Only now, Zhang Tao chuckled lightly. He did not say much. He would wait for this kid to reach this level before saying such arrogant words. He ignored him. After the attempt failed, the few of them did not try again. At least Fang Ping's existence proved that this path was feasible. The Golden Body 9 forging technique is useful even for high-ranked martial artists. It can walk the path of strengthening the body. I won't go into details of some of the specific methods now. Zhang Tao said, 9 forging is the limit of the golden body. Even if one cultivates the Golden Body 9 forging technique, it doesn't mean that one can definitely achieve 9 forging of the golden body. Also, the method of cultivating the brain core must not be leaked. The few of them were slightly stunned. Zhang Tao said, solemnly, The cultivation of the brain core lies in a membrane that can be broken with a poke. If we can do it, the catacombs can too. If we can cultivate, the catacombs can naturally do it too. Therefore, this cultivation method shouldn't be widely publicized. If we tell everyone, there's a high possibility that someone will be sent to the catacombs. This possibility exists. Therefore, we can only let some trustworthy powerhouses cultivate it first. Otherwise, if the catacombs get it, it'll be troublesome. They have more powerhouses than us. Everyone understood when he said this, but Fong Ping still said, helplessly, even if we get the cultivation method, there's no way to fully cultivate it. Isn't this meaningless? Nonsense! Zhang Tao said exasperatedly. How is it meaningless? Can't you cultivate it? Can't we? Can't you have some grandmasters over at MCM with you? 90% of high-ranked powerhouses can be trusted. They can also cultivate. The ones who can't be reassured are only a very small group of people. Beside him, Old Manly said gloomily, among the high-ranked, which people can't be trusted. Zhang Tao said frankly, first, the martial artists who resurrected, including the few from MCMAU, are not allowed to be leaked for now. Second, the sect martial artists, other than people like Leader Zhao, the rest of the old antiques will not be told. Third, some of the martial artists that we find suspicious will not be leaked. The high-ranked martial artists are not stupid. I don't think you will reveal it to just anyone. You should know what you should know. You don't have to tell others about this. If someone asks about the cultivation method, then let the catacombs spy deal with it. Because if we can tell them, we will tell them. We won't keep this to ourselves. We have located the brain nucleus. The high-ranked martial artists do not need to reveal the Celestial Bridge and Sanjiao Gate, so there's no risk of exposure. Nowadays, only when humans become stronger can we resist the catacombs, and not let the catacombs improve with us. What about overseas? Fong Ping asked. Zhang Tao laughed and said, it will be spread abroad too, but it will be a little later, about 3 months. Also, it will be exchanged for some resources. It won't be given away for free. In 3 months, if everything goes well, we should be able to complete the restoration of the Celestial Bridge and the location of the brain nucleus. The martial artists of the neo-martial arts era have never cultivated the brain nucleus. I think if they cultivate it, they will enter a period of rapid improvement. Many people are stuck at the mentality stage. When the time comes, the number of rank 8 martial artists will increase, and so will the number of rank 9 martial artists. It won't be strange if there are even more peak-level martial artists. As for rank 6 martial artists, Zhang Tao pondered for a moment, saying, maybe this is the difference between mentality cultivation methods and physique cultivation methods. The 9 golden body forging methods introduced how to locate the brain nucleus in high-rank martial artists, but it didn't say how martial artists in the 3 middle ranks should cultivate it. Rank 6 martial artists have already involved the problem of mentality, but the Sanjiao Gate has yet to be located on the Celestial Bridge. How should we cultivate mentality at this time? Li Zhen continued. Since we already know that it has something to do with the brain nucleus, then we can try to deduce the rank 6 mentality cultivation method next. We had no clue before, but now that we have a clue, it will be much easier. That's true. Zhang Tao said casually. Fong Ping, this time you guys have established a great merit. Without waiting for Fong Ping to speak, Zhang Tao laughed and said, don't talk nonsense. I can't give you anything, but you have what you need. You can just take Ji Yao's rank 9 divine weapon and life extinguishing flower. If worst comes to worst, when you reach rank 9, I'll lend you the Origins unique art for you to take a look. Fong Ping curled his lips, looking down on it. Zhang Tao harumphed. Little bastard. He was still being unreasonable. Beside him, Li Hansong said dryly, "Minister, this cultivation method seems to be inherited by me." "Minister, you're giving it to Fong Ping. What about me?" "No matter what, I'm the one who passed the cultivation method to you." "Get lost. You've already inherited and learned the 9 golden body forging methods. Isn't that enough? What else do you want?" Zhang Tao said exasperatedly, "You're a rank 7 martial artist. You have rank 8 boxing gloves, rank 9 divine armor, and you're cultivating the ancient martial era's divine body cultivation method. You don't lack cultivation resources either. What else do you want?" "I'm missing a storage ring," Li Hansong said gloomily. "Do you understand? I'm missing this. With this, I can hide things." Old Zhang could not be bothered with him. He looked at Fong Ping and said, "I'll give you a copy of the 9 golden body forging methods after I'm done translating it. Not literally, I'm passing it to you through mentality. In the future, this kind of cultivation method will be inherited like this. Don't let it end up on paper. Let's not talk about this. Where's your cultivation method?" Fong Ping took a breath and glanced at Li Changsheng. Old Man Li laughed and said, "What are you looking at? Tell me quickly. If it's really the 10,000 Tao unification cultivation method, then it'll be worth it. If it's not, other cultivation methods are not bad either. Maybe there's a rank 6 martial artist mentality cultivation method." Fong Ping was no longer vague. Very soon, he started communicating with old Zhang's mentality. This time, the few paragons were still solemn. However, very soon, they were relieved. That senior did not set up any obstacles. Old Zhang listened to Fong Ping's mentality while he laughed and said, "You're really lucky, kid. It's really the 10,000 Tao unification cultivation method. You didn't go to the Xuanda Grotto for nothing this time." Having said that, he looked at Li Changsheng and smiled. "There's only one thing that limits you with the 10,000 Tao unification cultivation method: the rapid depletion of your vitality. Not only that, but because of the depletion of vitality, the stronger you are, the faster it will deplete. Actually, you don't even dare to cultivate normally. There's also no imperishable substance to hone your flesh. You can only rely on vitality force to grind it forcefully. It's harder and more complicated for you to hone compared to the average rank 8 martial artist. However, there's a way to solve this problem now." Old Man Li's expression did not change, but his grip on the sword tightened. Could he self-generate imperishable substance now? Because he could not generate imperishable substance, he could only rely on Fong Ping to save his life. During battles, he was also very aggrieved. After a slash, if the enemy did not die, he would almost be dead. Therefore, when this slash was unleashed, there were usually many restrictions. Moreover, Fong Ping's life essence and imperishable substance were not unlimited. If this went on, Fong Ping would not be able to supply them. He could only be a cripple. Perhaps, at the last moment, he could unleash his final brilliance. Can it finally be done? Old Man Li mumbled in his heart. His gaze turned to Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao said, "The 10,000 Tao unification cultivation method is called 10,000 Tao unification. This is also an extremely unique cultivation method. It's very rare, but it's also very common. It's rare because there aren't many people who can cultivate it. It's common because there's a cultivation limit. This cultivation method is actually available in almost every grotto heaven. However, they've all been shelved. The number of martial artists who walk the path of 10,000 Tao unification and 10,000 techniques unification is extremely low. The reason you can't generate imperishable substance is actually related to mentality. You lack mentality. Your mentality has already been fused into one and turned into vitality force. Without mentality, You can't create imperishable substance purely by relying on vitality force and golden body strength. As he spoke, Zhang Tao had already begun to transmit his voice to Old Man Li. Old Man Li frowned for a while, then relaxed for a while, then gloomy for a while, then excited for a while. At this moment, no one interrupted him. They were all happy for him. Fong Ping was also extremely excited. Old Man Li could finally cultivate an imperishable substance. After an unknown amount of time, Old Man Li came back to his senses and smiled. "Don't look at me. There's no problem." Zhang Tao said, "Don't listen to his nonsense. There's still a problem. If you want him to generate imperishable substance, he has to forcefully convert his vitality and simulate it into mentality. This is feasible for him. They're one body in the first place. However, if you do that, his consumption will be very high. Fong Ping, your mineral vein might not be able to withstand his consumption." Fong Ping said happily, "It's nothing. I lack everything but this." "You're being more direct. Isn't it just energy? If there's enough energy replenishment, Instructor Li can replenish his vitality. It's actually worth it. Isn't it worth it to use energy to exchange for imperishable substance? Actually, my mineral vein isn't that big. After conversion, it's only about 5 trillion, Zhang Tao said lightly. "I remember that the amount I gave you back then was less than 2 trillion. Fong Ping said sarcastically, "I saved it myself. I saved 600 billion energy stones. Minister, do you have to ask about this? Was it not just a little that he dug last time? Was it meaningful to bring it up again now?" Zhang Tao was mentally exhausted. He knew that the kid had dug, but he did not know that the kid had dug so much. Also, it was only 5 trillion? Before he finished thinking, Fong Ping calculated. According to the previous calculation, we've earned about 11,500 caddies of rank 9 energy stones in total. I got 60%, which is about 6,900 caddies. 300 million caddies, not even 2,100 billion. However, it's about the same value as my mineral vein. After all, what we got this time were relatively pure energy liquids, and the like. Fong Ping looked at Li Hansong, and the rest, saying, "After you get it, provide it to NMAU or CCMAU. They're all for middle and low-ranked martial artists to cultivate. Energy liquids are too extravagant. Use energy soil instead. The energy liquids and the energy essence in the river are all mine," as he said that. A large amount of energy liquids and energy river water mixed with imperishable substance appeared in front of Fong Ping. At this moment, Zhang Tao and the rest looked at each other and quickly transmitted their voices. "He's showing off." Nan Yunyue asked. Zhang Tao said firmly, "He's showing off. Not just showing off, but showing off that he's very rich. He looks down on us and thinks that we're poorer than him. He's not as strong as us in terms of martial strength, but he crushes us in terms of wealth. Both of you, I've thought about it, to prevent him from running around and entering the catacombs. After the meeting, the 3 of us will work together to make a mentality solidification house so that he can cultivate in it. What do you think?" Terminator used mentality solidification, which also consumed a lot of energy. However, at this moment, Li Jun agreed readily, saying, "Sure, not only do we need to solidify the house with mentality, I've thought about it. Doesn't this kid love to show off? Why don't we hang the house above MCMAU?" "That's not a good idea," Nan Yunyue said awkwardly. "Then wouldn't his cultivation method be exposed?" "That makes sense." Zhang Tao agreed. After thinking for a while, he said, "Then we'll bury the house in the ground and let him cultivate in seclusion in peace. Doesn't he love to show off? If he breaks through this time, I think he can't come out. How can he show off?" The few of them looked at each other. "Good idea. with the mentality solidification house made by 3 paragons working together, this kid can forget about coming out even if he dies. When he breaks through, perhaps no one will know where he is. Zhang Tao was secretly pleased. I'll let you show off. Don't you like to show off when you break through? This time, I'll lock you up. Let's see how you show off. You have money. Can't you go back and show off? Showing off in front of us. What's the meaning of that? At the side, Fong Ping did not know what the paragons were thinking. He was innocent. He did not think too much. He was just happy. Old Li could cultivate now. He could produce imperishable substances. In the future, without the metal-swallowing beast, Old Li could cultivate without restraint. He would no longer have to worry about his vitality depleting rapidly during cultivation. As for the bit of energy, it was nothing. It complemented Fong Ping perfectly. Fong Ping needed wealth, but he did not have much demand for these physical objects. Coincidentally, Old Li needed these physical objects. This could be considered as making full use of them. Energy liquids worth more than 200 billion. No matter what, it should be enough for Old Li to cultivate for a while, right? Fong Ping was very happy. At the same time, he felt a little helpless. He looked at Old Man Li for a while. After a while, he said, "Instructor, I'm borrowing it from you. Write me an IOU of 10 trillion later." Although he did not lend as much as 10 trillion, Fong Ping suspected that his mineral vein might not be able to withstand it. The consumption of powerhouses was still very high. Otherwise, there would not be a huge mine in Royal City. This was actually prepared for those rank 9 castellans to break through to Paragon. Nan Yunyue was only 1 step away from breaking through, but she had already spent Fong Ping's trillion imperishable substances. Old Man Li did not say anything. He smiled and suddenly picked up a huge crystal bottle. The crystal bottle contained more than 100 caddies of energy liquids. He poured it into his mouth and drank it like it was water. Gulp, gulp. As he drank, Old Man Li's body exuded an extremely strong vitality force. The energy that he drank was also rapidly converted into vitality force. A pillar of vitality that reached the sky appeared above Capital City. The next moment, Old Man Li let out a low roar. The vitality on his golden body stirred. Very quickly, this vitality turned golden and crystal clear. He's changing his vitality. When he cultivates, his vitality turns into something similar to mentality, Zhang Tao explained. Very soon, Old Man Li's body emitted a faint golden glow. Fong Ping's eyes lit up. At this time, this golden glow circulated on Old Man Li's skin, permeating at a speed that was almost visible to the naked eye. Old Man Li's aura became slightly stronger. Old Man Li was still drinking energy liquids. 1 bottle of energy liquids was more than 100 caddies, which was equivalent to 300 caddies of rank 9 energy stones. It was worth close to 100 billion. How could this be the only effect? Old Man Li's golden body was becoming more and more brilliant. The pillar of vitality light was also becoming more and more dazzling. Beside him, Zhang Tao sighed again. Before this, he was always in a state of hunger. His body has never been replenished with imperishable substances. The imperishable substances that you gave him were all used in combat. In reality, he did not use them to hone his body at all. His body is in a state of exhaustion. These days, he actually did not improve much, almost nothing, because he could not bear to waste life essence and imperishable substances. Old Man Li did not dare to cultivate. Since his breakthrough until now, the time he cultivated was actually very little. Even so, because of the loss of vitality, his body was in a state of exhaustion. At this time, knowing that he could become stronger and rely on energy to cultivate, Old Man Li immediately hesitated no more. Life essence and imperishable substances were hard to come by, but the quantity was abundant in the catacombs. As long as he became stronger, he could rob and plunder. Unlike before, when he robbed and plundered, there might not be life essence and imperishable substances. The value of these two might be equal, but the difficulty of obtaining them was definitely not the same. Old Man Li's aura was getting stronger and stronger, close to 70,000 calories. Li Jun suddenly said, "Completed golden body, first refinement, vitality 50,000 calories. Completed second refinement, 60,000 calories. One refinement would increase the upper limit of vitality by about 10,000 calories. 70,000 calories also meant that Old Man Li was about to complete golden body third refinement now. Before this, Old Man Li had killed 2 rank 9 consecutively with less than 70,000 calories vitality. Even if they were not very strong rank 9s, it was still not easy. Even if there were people holding him back, even if there were things suppressing him, killing a rank 9 was equivalent to killing an enemy of a higher rank. Boom! At this moment, Old Man Li's body trembled, golden body rays illuminating heaven and earth. Third refinement completed. Li Jun's eyes were bright, saying, "A normal rank 8 would usually complete golden body 5th refinement. Vitality has reached 90,000 calories. Even so, vitality is just vitality, but Li Changsheng has 10,000 unification. His vitality outburst can almost double the damage." This time, Fang Ping completely understood the combat strength level of 10,000 unification. 70,000 calories vitality was comparable to a powerhouse with 140,000 calories vitality. And a rank 9 was also like this. At this moment, Old Man Li was still drinking the energy liquid, but it was not enough. The next moment, Old Man Li picked up another bottle of energy liquid and drank it. He was like a bottomless pit. 100 caddies of energy liquid was consumed in the blink of an eye. Li Jun's gaze became brighter and brighter, smiling. He has been poor for too long. Now he's taking the opportunity to replenish himself, making up for his previous weakness. He's starting the 4th refinement. Zhang Tao exhaled softly, saying, "This kid, don't tell me he still wants to complete the 4th refinement here." Fang Ping could not help but turn his head to look at him. "I always feel awkward when you call Old Man Li this kid." Zhang Tao did not care about him. At this moment, everyone was looking at Li Changsheng. Old Man Li drank in big mouthfuls, the golden glow on his body becoming more and more intense. Ha ha ha! Old Man Li suddenly burst into laughter. His laughter was joyous. His laughter was wild. Swordsman longevity, breaking longevity. I only break other people's longevity. Ha ha ha! Old Man Li laughed loudly, his beard and hair standing on end. How unostentatious! He did not care if outsiders said that he had broken his path to longevity. However, he, the swordsman longevity, was not willing to rely on a junior to fight to death, to obtain life essence and imperishable substances to provide for him. He was not resigned to it. Now, although Fang Ping was still providing for him, he had the ability and qualifications to fight. Nurture with battle. Kill enemies. Seize resources. Forge a golden body. Today, the swordsman longevity has been resurrected. No, the swordsman longevity has returned. Ha ha ha! Li Changsheng laughed, completely crazily. He wanted to be crowned king, and the king of swordsmanship. Even if there was a top-notch swordsmanship powerhouse by his side right now, he did not care. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The void trembled. The longevity sword in Old Man Li's hand was incomparably dazzling. In the next moment, Old Man Li suddenly lifted a bottle of energy liquid, drank it in one gulp, and shouted, "Wait for me for a moment." As soon as he finished speaking, His figure flashed, vanishing without a trace. Damn it! Zhang Tao cursed suddenly, almost spitting blood. He shouted hurriedly, "Li Shun, go to the capital city catacombs." Without another word, Li Shun vanished on the spot instantly. Fang Ping and the rest were still in a daze. Less than 2 minutes later, Old Man Li returned laughing, smashing a human head with a bang, laughing. Rank 9 is nothing more than this. Everyone was dumbfounded. A few seconds later, Li Zhen returned, saying softly he entered the capital city catacombs and killed City Lord Qiuju in 3 moves. Everyone was silent. Old Man Li was reckless and high-spirited, standing with his sword in hand. He was so cool. King ceremony. Old Man Li threw this sentence and continued to sculpt. For a moment, it made everyone's blood boil. Please remember this book's original domain name. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor mobile version website. Chapter 686. Meanwhile, capital city catacombs. Everyone was still in a daze. That was the longevity swordsman. It's him. City Lord Qiuju is dead. Dead. 1 man and 1 sword entered the catacombs and killed a city lord with 3 swords. Some people murmured, while others thought they were still dreaming. Was this really Li Changshen? Is the longevity swordsman so strong? Someone said with difficulty, City Lord Qiuju, she hasn't comprehended the origin path. She's considered weak among the rank 9 weaklings. Rank 9, are there weaklings? Someone muttered in disbelief. There were no weaklings in rank 9. The so-called weak, level 9, only applied to the truly strong. But when one reached level 9, he would be a great grandmaster, a city lord, or a divine general. What weak rank? 9. No matter how weak he was not someone a rank 8 could kill at will. In the past, the number 1 rank 8 Wu Quishan was only confident in defeating a weak rank 9. Now, the number 1 rank 8 Li Changshen was decisive. As soon as he entered, he released his aura, went straight to the opposite city, provoked the city lord, and killed him with 3 swords. Everyone was stunned by this scene. The level 9 expert in charge of the city had not come to his senses yet. The chrysanthemum in Autumn Chrysanthemum City had not come to his senses yet, either. City Lord Qiuju died, just like that. His death was unbelievable. The longevity swordsman is truly invincible. Everyone was so shocked that they found it hard to extricate themselves. In reality, Li Changshen's battle prowess was not so strong that it was terrifying. There were many experts who had comprehended the origin path who were stronger than him. At the very least, the top 10 should be stronger than him. But the key point was that Li Changshen was only a rank 8. A true rank 8. Right now, Wu Quishan might be slightly stronger than Old Man Li, but he might not necessarily be stronger than him. However, Wu Quishan had already walked quite a distance on the Tao of Origin and was praised by Zhang Tao as an expert who had a chance of entering the top 10. In the top 10, there were 5 absolute masters. Excluding the 5 paragons, Wu Quishan, who was actually ranked 18th, was now ranked 13th among the Sino rank 9. Was Li Changshen and Wu Quishan on par? The people in the capital city catacombs were beyond shocked. Similarly, in the side hall, Fang Ping and the others were also incredibly excited. At this moment, despite Old Man Li's pretense, Fang Ping could not hide the excitement in his heart. It was surging. 3 swords to kill a rank 9. It wasn't a single strike, but this was completely different. 1 strike was built on the assumption that others were his target practice. This time, Old Man Li used 3 strikes and killed a rank 9 powerhouse with 3 strikes. Teacher, holding the longevity sword, golden body 9 forging, unity of myriad paths, ultimate technique. All these coupled with this fellow's achievements in swordsmanship, it was not an exaggeration to say that he was invincible. And this, how long would it take? Old man Li did not let everyone guess. He looked at Fang Ping and smiled. Be obedient for half a year. Watch me forge one every month. In half a year, I'll complete the golden body 9 forging. Zhang Tao said impatiently, even if you're 100 forging, your improvement speed might not be able to keep up with the speed at which he causes trouble. Fang Ping was speechless. At this time, Fang Ping suddenly said, unity of myriad paths is so powerful. Then what about the ancient martial era's unity of myriad powerhouses? What about the unity of myriad techniques powerhouses? The ancient books have always recorded it, even the cultivation methods. That means that unity of myriad paths may be rare, but it's definitely not unseen. Fang Ping was still narrating when Li Jun snorted softly. Unity of myriad paths is unity of myriad paths. Longevity swordsman is longevity swordsman. Don't be equated. These words were what old man Li was thinking. At this time, the old man said in high spirits, the ancient martial era's unity of myriad paths is now the same rank as me. I'll kill him with one strike. Unity of myriad paths depends on the person. You're a genius, but I'm more of a genius than you. Because I'm the strongest unity of myriad paths, the strongest martial artist, the strongest swordsman since the beginning of time. Fang Ping was speechless. Even Li Jun said so. Old man Li was really strong. However, Fang Ping was a little jealous at this moment. He was a little mad. He mumbled, but you didn't cultivate much. You just entered this rank not long ago. How are you stronger than others? Old man Li laughed. Because I'm strong. That's why I'm strong. Fang Ping was stunned for a long time. Self-hypnosis? Self-hypnosis again. Could it be that the effect of self-hypnosis was that good? Qin Fengqing hypnotized himself that he was invincible. He was indeed extremely strong among rank 6. Old man Li too. Both of them had just entered this rank not long ago. They did not have any foundation to speak of, nor did they have any accumulation. But they were strong. Fang Ping was still in a daze. Zhang Tao said softly, willpower, indomitable confidence, and courage. Have a pure mind. Fang Ping, don't think about it. Your mind is too complicated. Unless you can let go of all your worries and burdens. From today onwards, you will only live for martial arts. If you do it, you will also be a powerhouse, a top-notch powerhouse among the same rank. Of course, the premise is that your strength foundation is there. Without that foundation, if you, a rank 7, want to kill a rank 9, that's suicide. Li Changsheng is strong because his foundation is there. 10 years of sharpening a sword, honing his mentality to be strong. 10 years ago, he might have been a genius, but he won't be more of a genius than he is now. Old man Li said lightly, I've always been like this. He. Old Zhang sneered. He said unhappily, sit down. We're not done talking. What are you standing for? To show that you're awesome? Who asked you to kill the enemy without saying a word? The battle of the Forbidden City has just ended. Do you want the capital city battle to break out immediately? At this time, everyone will be in a period of rapid improvement. At this time, you have to be steady and drag it out. Look at you. You don't have a sense of the big picture. You were chased all over the Forbidden Catacombs. Now you're so strong. Do you think the Catacombs' true king is stupid? Fortunately, you used a sword earlier. Plus, Fang Ping has a lot of imperishable substance. Otherwise, you'll cause the other party to speculate whether you've obtained a cultivation method. Li Changsheng, grow some brains. You think this is cool? Domineering? I can kill dozens of weak rank 9s with one slap. Did I do that? Old man, Li did not say anything. Nonsense. You're at the pinnacle. I'm a rank 8. Is that how you put it? I can also kill a bunch of rank 1s with one slap. Did I say that? Li Jun and the rest did not say anything either. Old Zhang was envious and jealous. Let him vent. Who asked him to not kill a rank 9 powerhouse when he broke through to the pinnacle? At this point, other than old man Li's little accident, the matter had come to an end. Everyone was happy. In his joy, Fang Ping wanted to say something. Zhang Tao did not say a word. He quickly set up a layer of mentality barrier. It was not only aimed at Fang Ping, but also at old man Li. Mother asterisk Kerr, lock both of them up. All of you go and cultivate in silence. Arrogant just because you have some ability. Fang Ping, this kid, he wanted to say something, but stopped. Did he want money? He was too greedy for money. Do you think it's easy for me to give trillions of resources to Li Changsheng? I blocked a few true kings for you, and you don't even want to give them to me. Zhang Tao set up a mentality barrier. Li Jun and Nan Yunhua followed in silence. These two fellows, lock them up. Now that they had the cultivation methods and Fang Ping had the resources, they could cultivate in peace for a while if they were locked up. They did not want to hear gossip about these two. While working, Zhang Tao sealed off the voices inside the barrier. He said, "This way, we don't have to listen to their nonsense. We can also help the Martial Arts Association block some trouble. These two fellows, when they're free, they might threaten someone to change the ranking. What kind of evil is this?" When he said this, he even took a look at Li Jun. "I'm talking to you." Li Jun ignored him. As he worked, he said, "Let's not have any conflicts for now. Try to be tolerant. We need time, a relatively stable period of time for everyone to complete the localization of the brain nucleus." Having said that, he looked at the dumbfounded Wang Jinyang and the rest and said lightly, "The few of you don't cause trouble. It's not a good thing to go to the catacombs frequently. At this time, the most important thing is to improve your strength as soon as possible. No matter how many resources you have, if you don't use them, they're all just decorations." Li Hansong said gloomily, "But the resources are all with Fang Ping. Now that he's locked up, nonsense. Doesn't he have a mind? How much does he owe you? You guys dig up as much as you want. That'll be enough." Li Jun did not hold back. Beside him, Zhang Tao's gaze was unfriendly. He said, "Li Jun, you're cutting in." What was going on with Li Jun? He was actually worried about Fang Ping's mind. Was he preparing to fight for the offline with him? Before he could finish, Nan Yunhua laughed and said, "These two fellows are troublemakers. Why don't you let me bring them back to the Department of Investigation Services to keep an eye on them just in case something happens?" Zhang Tao's gaze became even more unfriendly. Great. He was really going to fight for his offline. Fang Ping brought back the cultivation methods and took out a lot of resources. There was a lot of imperishable substances. Li Changsheng got the cultivation methods. Right now, he had already started his golden body 5th refinement cultivation. He killed a rank 9 with 3 swords. These two fellows, one was a lucky star, the other a powerhouse. This was great. They were too ostentatious. They were being targeted. Zhang Tao glanced at the two of them and laughed. "Forget it. Let Lu Fengru and the rest bring them back to MCMAU. We still have other things to do. There are so many things to do. We don't have time to care about these." Having said that, he added, "There's no one guarding the forbidden catacombs. Nan Yunhua, you've just broken through. Go and guard it for a while. Li Jun make a trip to Stellar Sky City and discuss with them whether or not they should withdraw their people from the king battlefield. If we withdraw, give the cultivation methods to everyone. If we don't withdraw, it'll be too dangerous in the land of kings. It'll be easy to be targeted by the true kings. We can't give it to them then. At least we still have some confidence in the Outland. There are too many things to do. I also need to go and give those high-ranked cultivation methods. I also need to deal with the aftermath of the Forbidden Catacombs. Everyone is busy now. I'll deal with these two fellows later. Zhang Tao assigned tasks to the two of them in a group of 3. One was to guard Mount Royal Sea. The other was to go to Star City to recruit people. Let's see if you guys still have time to care about Fong Ping and the rest. Nan Yunwei rolled her eyes. You go to Mount Royal Sea. I'll take care of these. Zhang Tao sneered. Fine. You take care of them. You have to make proper arrangements for the aftermath of the Forbidden Catacombs. You also have to bear responsibility for the cultivation methods. Once it spreads to the catacombs, it'll be your responsibility. Nen Yunhua felt tired. Bullying people. You know, I hate these things the most. She took another look at the trapped Fong Ping, who was moving his mouth and howling wildly. Nan Yunhua suddenly said, This kid has a rank 9 divine weapon and a rank 9 monster plant on him. He's just trapped like that. Won't he be tricked out? Li Hansong, Wang Jinyang, and the others were stunned. This person said this in front of them. Was he going to silence them? Zhang Tao ignored these guys. He laughed. Don't worry. It's a simple matter. It's a fair deal. If he really reaches rank 8, I'll let him use a divine weapon to buy a position as deputy minister. He won't have any objections. As for the other demon plants, this kid might not be willing to give them to us. Zhang Tao shook his head and said, If he really reaches grade 8, he will also want to forge a grade 9 divine weapon. However, he probably won't want that grade 7 longsword anymore. When the time comes, we can just swindle it. Old Zhang had already arranged everything properly. He would leave the monster plant for Fong Ping to forge a rank 9 divine weapon after he reached rank 8. As for Ji Yao's grade 9 divine weapon, he would have to bluff his way over so that it wouldn't go to waste. Hearing this, Wang Jinyang and the other 2 wanted to cry, but had no tears. You've already made arrangements? The few of them looked at Fong Ping, who was still struggling in the barrier, and their faces were full of sympathy. You're not as strong as old Zhang, so you should just stay put. However, with Fong Ping's personality, when he reached the peak, the 3 of them looked at Zhang Tao sympathetically. If you don't get beaten to death by him, you'll be considered strong. Zhang Tao glanced at the 3 of them and snorted. What kind of look was that? Damn it! What is old Zhang doing? Inside the barrier, Fong Ping watched as the small house took shape. He said angrily, What is this for? He's so hateful, turning his back on me. That's enough. Old Manly sat down cross-legged, looked around, and laughed. The environment is not bad. This place is not bad. Even if you pour out all the energy liquid in your body, it won't spill. Cultivate here from now on. It's pretty good. The solidification house made by the peak is also a treasure. It's much better than the energy room. It can maximize the use of energy. If your materialization is broken, repair it as soon as possible. As for the brain nucleus, cultivate it as soon as possible. You're 1 step ahead of the others and have located the brain nucleus in advance. This is the golden period for cultivation. Don't delay it. Old Manly said, Don't waste your time worrying about the school's matters. We don't lack resources now. You don't have to worry about it. The school has been operating for more than 60 years. It's not like it can't handle something like this. But Fong Ping looked aggrieved. But how long is he going to lock us up for? My skull has been honed, and my mentality has reached 3,000 hertz. I might be able to draw the last of the bone marrow directly, forge a complete golden body in one go, and enter the golden body realm. I don't think it will take too long. If he locks us up for a month, then Old Manly was a little tired. So this is what you care about. You're almost a rank 8, a golden body powerhouse, a god powerhouse. At this time, you still have the mood to show off in front of others? Fong Ping knew what he was thinking. However, he was cursing in his heart. Not just me, you're the same. My cultivation has a breakthrough. Of course, I have to let others know. Joy alone is not as good as joy together. Besides, I'm also doing this to boost morale. Also, in this battle, I killed 2 rank 9s. I didn't even have time to tell everyone. Thinking of this, Fong Ping suddenly slammed the solidified wall frantically. Very soon, Zhang Tao's impatient voice was heard. What are you doing? I have something to tell you. Minister, let Qin Fengqin in for a while. I also want you to take a look at how to handle his situation. Zhang Tao did not say anything after hearing him say so. After a while, Qin Fengqin entered the side hall with a golden egg and a tree on his head. Seeing Fong Ping and Li Changsheng sealed in a transparent house, Qin Fengqin was dumbfounded. What was going on? Fong Ping ignored him. Now that he could speak to others, he asked immediately, Minister, what should we do about his situation? Zhang Tao glanced at Qin Fengqin. His eyelids trembled slightly. After a while, he said, There's too much miscellaneous energy in his body. Now that he's done this, his energy isn't pure enough. The energy has all been deposited together. Seeing that Qin Fengqin was looking at him, Zhang Tao sighed. Suffer a little. Light a fire. Qin Fengqin was dumbfounded. Just light a fire. Energy fire. Use large amounts of energy liquids or energy stones to burn him. Burn the accumulated energy and burn the impurities out of the body. It's similar to CCMEU's energy furnace. But let me tell you in advance, the energy that has been deposited in your body is too mixed. There's all kinds of messy stuff. Your big ball looks full of energy, but it's very messy. Fong Ping's flatbread is compressed from pure life essence. You, on the other hand, Zhang Tao went on for a while before saying, your aptitude isn't good enough. If you want to improve quickly, there's always a loss. I have to tell you in advance, if you burn to the end, you won't be able to burn away the impurities, but the energy in your body will be ignited. Have you seen the Royal City explosion? Qin Fengqin finally spoke. His throat was dry. Will I be burned and explode? That's possible. If you're done burning, can I enter rank 7? A real rank 7? It depends, Zhang Tao said in a low voice. Burning the body with energy fire is also a kind of willpower training. If you're not burned to death, your mentality should be enough. Okay. Don't you want to reconsider? Zhang Tao said softly. The pain is beyond your imagination. The energy fire will burn everything in you, your bone marrow, your internal organs. Can I forge a golden body? Golden body? It's a golden body like Fong Ping's. Then I'll materialize my mentality. You want to unite all Daos? Yes. Qin Fengqin grinned. I heard that when Instructor Li went out for a trip just now, he killed a rank 9 with 3 swords. Zhang Tao shook his head. There's not much hope, but it's not hopeless. When Li Changsheng forged a golden body in rank 6, everything was reconstructed after he was almost completely dead. A large amount of life essence compressed him into a golden body. As for you, if the energy fire burns you to ashes and you're still alive, then you can use a large amount of life essence or imperishable substances, and you'll have hope of forging a golden body. Seeing that Qin Fengqin was about to speak, Zhang Tao said lightly, The survival rate is less than 1 in 10,000. Gamble. That's when you have no other choice. If you gamble on this 1 in 10,000 now, forget about where the large amount of resources will come from. If you lose, then these resources will be wasted. Qin Fengqing took a breath. After a while, he said, I understand. Having said that, he regained his smile. He looked at Fang Ping in the house and chuckled. Fang Ping, don't mention borrowing resources. I didn't. Fang Ping rolled his eyes. Gambling on a 1 in 10,000 survival rate. Stupid. I'm not talking about this. Qin Fengqing chuckled. I don't want to court death. If I don't gamble on this opportunity, when I become a paragon, when all Daos unite, my life will also be cut in half. Humph. Old Man Li let out a humph, his expression unfriendly. Qin Fengqing coughed dryly and said quickly, I'm talking about burning my resources. Fang Ping, that. Fang Ping looked at Zhang Tao and said, Minister, how much do you need? A bottle of energy fluid, like the one you used earlier. Fang Ping's expression was blank. He could not help but ask, 100 caddies? Almost 100 billion? It's just a burn. You need so much money? Yes. Forget it, Minister. You can seal the house and pretend I don't exist. Fang Ping sat down cross-legged. I'll go into closed-door cultivation. Outside, Qin Fengqing gritted his teeth and said, I'll use 10 rank, 7 heads to exchange. 20 is fine too. Seeing that Fang Ping ignored him, Qin Fengqing said helplessly, 10 rank, 8 heads. As long as I reach rank 7, I won't be limited by my qualifications anymore. I can use normal resources to break through and cultivate. Now, I'm just 1 step away. Fang Ping, help me one last time. Fang Ping said helplessly, you're only rank 6. You're not a metal-swallowing beast. You're a metal-swallowing monster. How many resources have you consumed since you started cultivating? Forget it. Forget it. I don't want the heads anymore. When you reach rank 7, think of a way to pay me back. Not only you, those who owe me money will have to pay me back sooner or later. Moreover, there will be interest. These words were said in a loud voice. Both Zhang Tao and Nan Yunyue were helpless. What about them? Fang Ping did not care so much. He continued, let's not talk about this now. This time, I went to the boundary zone and killed 2 rank 9s. I went to the forbidden catacombs and killed a large group of high ranks. You can do as you see fit. Qin Fengqing's eyes brightened instantly. He smiled immediately and said, don't worry, I'll do it properly. That's it then. We'll talk about the energy fluid after I come out. After saying that, Fang Ping sat down cross-legged and cultivated. Beside him, Zhang Tao was stunned for a moment. He sealed the house immediately. Mother asterisk her. So this is the main reason you called Qin Fengqing in? I thought you had something important to tell me. Zhang Tao snorted and ignored him. He tossed the house outside and said, bring it back to MCMAU. Find a hole and bury it. Don't let anyone see them cultivating. Everyone did not know whether to laugh or cry. Li Zhen shook his head and disappeared immediately. Foul atmosphere. The huge education ministry was getting more and more foul atmosphere. There was not a single decent person. Chapter 687. On September 21st, Fang Ping left MCMAU. On September 23rd, Fang Ping returned to MCMAU. It took 3 days to get there and back. When Fang Ping returned, he saw a lot of people. Lu Fengru's mischievous interest was triggered. She carried a transparent crystal house and hovered above MCMAU for a while. However, Lu Fengru soon realized that she was overthinking things. Inside the crystal house, Fong Ping and Old Man Li looked like they were enlightened masters. Their golden bodies were glimmering, hands behind their back, standing in the house and looking down at the ground. There was a faint look of worry on their faces as they conversed with each other, as if they were worried about the country and its people. Outside, Qin Feng Qing roared, "Principal Fong has gone to war and returned victorious. He had killed 2 rank 9s and countless high ranks. Dean Li killed 2 rank 9s and raised MCMAU's prestige. Congratulations to MCMAU. Congratulations to the Grandmaster." Below, the mentors and students were all shocked to the extreme. 2 MCMAU Grandmasters had killed 4 rank 9s, but everyone knew that no one would lie about something like this. In the next moment, countless teachers and students below cheered loudly. Congratulations to MCMAU. Congratulations to Principal Fong. Congratulations to Dean Li. Inside the crystal house, Fong Ping and Li Changsheng could not hear what everyone was saying, but at this moment they nodded slightly, smiling. Although some of the teachers and students were curious as to why the 2 of them were staying in the crystal bubble, experts had their own hobbies, so they did not ask any questions. Sigh. Beside them, Tang Feng sighed and glanced at Lu Fengru. "Just admit defeat. This student of yours is much better at acting than you are. He has already arranged everything. Even if he can't hear or speak, he still pretends to be calm and composed. Moreover, there was a supporting actor here. How could he lose face so easily?" Lu Fengru was also speechless. She glanced at the 2 people in the room and said after a while, "Say, if it's not cheering down there, but cursing, these 2 guys are still laughing so happily. Don't you think it's interesting?" After saying that, Lu Fengru looked at Qin Fengqing and said with a smile, "Qin Fengqing, come, scold them." Qin Fengqing ignored him. "I'm not doing it." Even if he scolded her, he had to wait until no one knew. If he scolded her now, there would be many people watching. "Come, let's hear some cursing. We won't tell on you." Qin Fengqing rolled his eyes. "I'm not stupid. I won't do it." He did not do it. Beside him, Li Hansong chuckled and said loudly, "Fong Ping, you owe me 10 rank, 9 divine weapons. When will you return them to me?" As he said that, Li Hansong waved at Fong Ping. Seeing that Fong Ping was looking at him, he pointed below and said loudly, "Fong Ping, you owe me 10 rank, 9 divine weapons. It's not too late to pay me back when you have them." In the crystal house, Fong Ping smiled and nodded. He then nodded at the crowd below to show that he had heard it. "Dean Li, you owe me 250 caddies of life essence. You should pay me back as soon as you have money left." Li Hansong pointed at Old Man Li. Old Man Li smiled and nodded, his face full of smiles. Outside the crystal house, everyone was stunned. Lu Fengru and the rest also looked at Li Hansong in surprise. This Tai Tu actually learned to cheat people. It wasn't just a scam. This fellow, what was that thing in his hand? Li Hansong grinned from ear to ear. It was nothing. It was just a camera. It was a joyous scene to celebrate everyone's return from a great victory. Li Hansong did not say anything. He carried the camera and ran in front of Fong Ping, saying loudly again, "Fong Ping, let's take a photo together. You don't have to worry about the 10 rank, 9 divine weapons you owe me." As he said that, he gestured for Fong Ping to take a pose. Fong Ping understood what he meant. Very quickly, he put his hands behind his back, a gentle smile on his face. His gaze was slightly melancholic as he recorded the video. Done. Li Hansong was very satisfied, his face full of joy. Fong Ping cheated others every day. This time, he cheated himself. Look, in front of MCMAU's instructors and students, he admitted that he owed him 10 rank, 9 divine weapons. Old Man Li too. There was even a video as proof. When there was a chance, he would also go and collect the debt. At this moment, Li Hansong felt really good about cheating people. Beside him, Qin Fengqing looked at him with disdain. Idiot! Wait for your death. When Fang Ping came out, he would beat you to death. It was just a verbal advantage. What was the use? Thinking of this, Qin Fengqing waved at Fang Ping, cut his throat, and pointed at Li Hansong. In the crystal house, Fang Ping continued to smile, saying, "Instructor, beat Li Hansong to death when we get out." "Okay, what do you think he'll say?" Old man, Li was too lazy to guess. No matter what he said when they got out, he would beat him up first. Why care so much? Even though they said they would beat Li Hansong to death, both of them were still smiling at Li Hansong. Calm this guy down first, lest he run away. This guy had a place to go. CCMU was still waiting. If he ran away, it would be troublesome. Fang Ping did not say anything else. He watched as Lu Fengru flew toward the southern area, waving at the instructors and students below, continuing to smile. As he landed toward the southern area, Fang Ping looked at the changes in his wealth. It was not that he only went in and out of the forbidden catacombs. A rank 9 monster plant, a rank 9 divine weapon, and almost 100 caddies of life essence. This was Fang Ping's harvest. The value of these things added up to about 450 billion. Wealth, 230 million points vitality, 19,000 calories, 21,300 calories, mentality, 2,200 hertz, 2,324 hertz, destructive force. Bones honed, 177 bones, 100%, 29 bones, 90%, storage space, 1,000 cubic meters plus, energy shield, 1 point/minute plus, aura simulation, 10 points/minute plus. His wealth had once again reached more than 200 million points. Fang Ping looked at the data and scanned the school's situation. He frowned slightly. A lot of people are missing. My sister and Chun Yunxi don't seem to be here. Old Man Li said softly, "Since you've embarked on the path of martial arts, don't bother about everything. If you were in rank 1 and everyone was watching over you, would you have achieved what you have now? Proper care and protection are necessary, but appropriate experience is also necessary. Now that the higher ranks have mentality cultivation methods, they can enter the higher ranks earlier. When the war comes, they will have some ability to protect themselves. I'm afraid the war is not far away. You can't protect them all the time," Old Man Li continued. "Moreover, you better not follow them. If you're not following them to protect them, then you're determined to kill them. You know your own situation. It's best not to admit that you're related to them." Fang Ping was speechless. What else can I say after hearing this? He was wanted in 108 outer regions. Once the news of Fang Ping's sister entering the catacombs was known, Fang Ping did not know what would happen. He did not say anything else. When he saw Lu Fengru and the others walking toward the beach, as if they wanted to throw them into the sea, Fang Ping's expression darkened. Was there a need for that? Zhang Tao and the others had nothing better to do. It was just cultivation. Did he not know the importance of cultivation? Why did he have to lock himself up? It was as if he would not cultivate if he did not lock himself up. Fang Ping was still thinking about it when the crystal house was thrown into the sea with a splash. On the shore, Tang Feng was amused. "Aren't you afraid that he'll give you trouble?" "What should I be afraid of?" Lu Fengru looked indifferent. "What can he do to me? If he wants to beat someone up, he'll beat you up. You're just standing there." Tang Feng looked helpless. Lu Fengru did not care whether he was helpless or not. She took a deep breath and said, "It's time to go into closed-door cultivation. This time, this kid got the cultivation method and solved our urgent problem. Otherwise, if we're still stuck at early stage rank 7. We won't have the face to live anymore. She had only broken through rank 7 in March. It had only been half a year since then. It was normal for her to not reach middle stage rank 7 in half a year. However, the others were getting stronger and stronger. Fang Ping, Yao Qingjun, and the others had surpassed them one after another. Old man Li killed a rank 9 in 3 moves. This comparison was truly distasteful. Now, Fang Ping and Old Man Li were also going into closed-door cultivation. When these two came out of closed-door cultivation, who knew what realm they would be in? If they were still stuck at early stage rank 7, they would really be too ashamed to face anyone. Moreover, MCMAU now had 3 rank 8 resurrected powerhouses and 2 rank 7 martial artists. In terms of strength, Lu Fengru and Tang Feng had fallen behind a lot. In the eyes of the students, they were still grandmaster-level powerhouses. However, in the eyes of the powerhouses, the ones who were really worth paying attention to in MCMAU were Wu Quishan, Li Changsheng, and Fang Ping. As for Huang Jing, Lu Fengru, and the others, they were now insignificant, at least compared to those paragons. September 23rd, Fang Ping and the others returned. After this return, no one saw Fang Ping and the others again. As for Qin Fengqin, many people saw him. They also saw that this guy had been carrying a golden egg on his head, planting a big tree, and running around everywhere. No one knew what he was doing, but every time they saw him, they would laugh. It was too weird. September 25th. The Grandmaster ranking was updated again. Since the Grandmaster ranking was released until now, it had been updated frequently recently. After every big battle, there would be people who died and people who advanced. This time, the changes were relatively big. A total of 42 people entered the rank 9 Grandmaster ranking. For the first time, the number of rank 8 ranking exceeded 100 people. A total of 106 people entered the ranking. The rank 7 ranking also reached a peak. 402 people entered the ranking. The rank 9 ranking, Axe King Shinkaiwen, was removed from the list, and 7 people were added: Chen Yaozu, Qin Qi, Wei Yong, Jiang Yuanhua, Su Haoren, Li Ximin, and Ma Tianfu. The first 6 people were all from Star Town, and this time they entered the ranking together. Ma Tianfu, on the other hand, was the old Taoist who guarded Mount Imperial Sea. This old Taoist previously killed a rank 8 powerhouse with 1 palm at Mount Imperial Sea. He was also a rank 9 powerhouse, and he came from the sect world. However, the old Taoist sect had long been annihilated, and he had been guarding the passageway at Mount Imperial Sea for decades. Before this, it had never been known to outsiders. This time, the ranking was updated, the number of people changed, and the ranking also changed relatively. On the rank 9 ranking, Nan Yunyue, who was previously ranked 5th, was ranked 3rd in one fell swoop. This was also the result that the 2 presidents of the Martial Arts Association fought for, even at the cost of their lives. According to Nan Yunyue's words, she should be ranked 1st. However, the 2 presidents really did not dare to agree. When Nan Yunyue threatened them, Li Zhen did not say anything, but snorted in the air. Zhang Tao did say a few words, such as Li Zhen's first place could be changed, and Nan Yunyue's 2nd place was still acceptable. As for who Li Zhen's changed first place would belong to, it was self-evident. The 2 presidents were about to collapse. In the end, they gritted their teeth and settled the ranking. Both of them were straightforward, packed up their belongings, and went to find a place to go into seclusion. Seclusion! Jueqing would not disturb them, right? When martial artists went into seclusion, it was a sign of a breakthrough. In the rank 9 ranking, Li Zhen was still 1st, Nan Yunyue 3rd. Other than their changes, there were also some changes in the bottom 5 of the top 10. Zhang Weiyu was still 6th, Wu Chuan 7th, and the 8th Kong Lingyuan dropped 1 place. Chun Yaozu was 8th, Kong Lingyuan 9th, and Zhao Xingwu 10th. Chun Yaozu entered the top 10, ranked after Wu Chuan, but it did not mean that his combat strength was inferior to Wu Chuan. It was just that the old man was not too willing to compete. After the top 10, there were changes in the others too. Northern Spear King Wang Yu dropped out of the top 10, ranked 11th. Li Daong ranked 12th. Li Xinmin, the head of the Li family, ranked 13th. Jiang Yuanhua ranked 14th. Wuan Army Commander Bei Gong Yan ranked 15th. Rank 9 powerhouse who guarded the capital city catacombs. Yu Peiwen ranked 16th. Taoist Ma Tianfu ranked 17th. Fang Yu ranked 18th. Fan Haiping ranked 19th. Su Haoran ranked 20th. Wei Yong ranked 21st. Wu Quishan had not fought recently. This time, because of the addition of new people, he dropped from 18th to 24th. Others like Tian Mu, who held a rank 9 divine weapon, were only ranked 30th. The rank 9 ranking list had bigger changes. This was also an important reason why the 2 presidents went into closed-door cultivation. They were going crazy. Recently, the atmosphere was getting worse and worse. Powerhouses who dropped out of the ranking, without exception, all wanted to settle scores with them. Powerhouses who did not drop out of the ranking were also unhappy that they did not move up. According to the words of the Southern Guardian, a certain Wu, he was much stronger than Zhang Weiyu. If he entered the 6th place, then he would be the first person below the paragon, not the second person below the paragon. A ranking almost caused the people of the Martial Arts Association to be ganged up on. The rank 9 ranking had changed a lot, and the rank 8 ranking was not small either. Li Changsheng firmly occupied the 1st place, unshakable. Swordsman Longevity did not become a king, and Old Man Li did not even have time to say anything about being a king before he was locked up. This time, the Martial Arts Association had saved a lot of trouble. Other than Li Changsheng, MCMAU's 3 new rank 8 powerhouses had also shown their talents this time. Since the 3 of them entered the Forbidden Catacombs, they had been holding back a rank 9. Until the end of the battle, the 3 of them were not at a disadvantage. Although they could not defeat or kill the opponent, 3 rank 8s holding back a rank 9 for more than 10 hours. This was strength. This time, all 3 of them entered the top ranks of rank 8. Guo Shengquan, ranked 6th in rank 8. Guan Fu, ranked 7th in rank 8. Mei Lingfeng, ranked 8th in rank 8. Top 10. This was their strength. The 3 of them had the strength to fight a rank 9 to a draw, enough to enter the top 10. If the 3 of them could defeat a rank 9 together, then they had the strength to enter the top 5. If they could fight a weak rank 9 alone and not be at a disadvantage, then they had the strength to enter the top 3. In an inconspicuous place, the former 1st rank 7, Chun Yaoting, ranked 47th in rank 8 this time. He had also improved rapidly. In the neo-martial arts era, golden body powerhouses were usually only 5 forging. Very few people could achieve 6 forging. 5 forging was also a peak rank, 8 powerhouse in the general sense. However, according to the degree of forging the golden body, it was easier to distinguish the strength of rank 8 powerhouses. The top 10 powerhouses of rank 8, including Li Changsheng, were all golden body 5 forging. Old Man Li had completed 4 forging, his vitality more than 80,000 calories, and now he had also initiated the 5th golden body forging. Those ranked 10 to 30 generally had the strength of 4 forging, while those ranked 30 to 60 mostly had the strength of 3 forging. Chun Yaoding could rank 47th, although he had the bonus of a rank 8 divine weapon, but it also meant that he had entered rank 8-3 forging. Otherwise, he would at most be ranked between 50 to 60. The final rank, 7 ranking list, had also changed a lot. Fang Ping had improved again, ranked first in rank 7. It was not because he had killed 2 rank 9. That did not mean that Fang Ping was very strong. This time, he ranked first with the intention of showing off. In the Battle of Purple Forbidden, Fang Ping had made a huge contribution. Although the late-stage cultivation methods were not completely popularized, at this time, most grandmasters knew that Fang Ping had brought them back. In addition, this kid liked to show off, and was also a troublemaker. In the end, the Martial Arts Association still ranked Fang Ping first. In history, he was also a martial artist who improved the fastest after entering the ranking list. At the end of July, Fang Ping officially entered rank 7. At the end of September, Fang Ping entered rank 7 first. In just 2 months' time, Li Hansong ranked 6th in rank 7, which was considered to have broken the record, exceeding everyone's expectations. Wang Jinyang and Yao Qingjun, on the other hand, were still ranked after the 100th. Although these two were not weak, their realms were there, unlike Li Hansong, who relied on his stubbornness, ran amok, and had outstanding battle achievements. Other than the high-ranked ranking list, the rank 6 ranking list was also unexpected this time. MCMAU Luo Yichuan took first place in rank 6. Zhang Jianhong took 3rd place, and Qin Fengqing actually took 4th place. This was also the first time they entered the top of the ranking list, the first time they were noticed by the outside world. Not only that, on the rank 5 ranking list, MCMU CLA went on a killing spree in the Tiananmen catacombs, killing a middle-stage rank 6 martial artist, displaying the strength of a thrice-honed prodigy for the first time, taking first place. On the rank 4 ranking list, MCMAU Zhao Shuame, with the strength of a peak rank 4 and once honed, killed a middle-stage rank 5 martial artist in the Donglin catacombs, also causing a sensation, taking first place. On the 3 lower rankings, there were not many changes. However, on the rank 2 ranking list, an MCMEU sophomore also took first place. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 major rankings. This time, MCMEU took first place in 6 major rankings. For a moment, MCMEU's name, even the whole world was shocked. Genius in a second, remember this site's address. Mobile version, Chapter 688. No matter how shocked the world was, Fang Ping was not in the mood to care about this. In fact, he could not care. He did not even know that the ranking had been updated. Lu Fengru threw them into the sea. Other than looking at the underwater scenery, Fang Ping, an old man, could not see anything else. Fortunately, it was the two of them. Otherwise, Fang Ping felt that he would be driven crazy. Old Zhang did not care about human affairs, who would force people to go into closed-door cultivation like this. However, without those troublesome things to disturb him, Fang Ping focused on cultivating. His cultivation speed was also extremely fast. Old man Li, who was almost at the side, simply closed his eyes, no longer willing to pay attention to him. No one cultivated like this. His myriad Dao was one. When he cultivated, it was considered terrifying. Fang Ping poured all the energy liquid and energy river water into the crystal house. Old man Li felt that his progress was unimaginable. But Fang Ping, that fellow, took out the celestial bridge and Sanjiao Gate located the brain nucleus, and then did not care about anything else, letting endless vitality force mentality and vitality surge out to hone the brain nucleus. The brain nucleus that was originally the size of a firefly was growing at a speed almost visible to the naked eye. As for Fong Ping, not only was he cultivating the brain nucleus, but he also had the time to repair his materialization, constantly filling it with imperishable substances. Old man, Li really could not bear to watch anymore. He was afraid that he would die of jealousy. This was how this kid cultivated. No wonder his cultivation speed was beyond imagination. Who would cultivate this and that at the same time, and it was the kind that did not stop. If it were someone else, when they were honing the brain nucleus, they would not have the energy to do other things. Even if they did, they would not have the energy to do it. Fong Ping did not neglect either. He could do both energetically. While Fong Ping repaired the materialization, he said, "Old Li, humph, there's only the two of us here. It's the same whatever you call me." Fong Ping did not care. He said, "Do you think that if I reach 3,000 hertz this time, I can guide the skull bone marrow and forge a real golden body? You'd better not." Old man, Li was originally too lazy to care about him. At this time, he said, "Under normal circumstances, when rank 7 martial artists reach peak rank 7, their mentality will not stop at 3,000 hertz. This is because when they hone the skull, their mentality will still increase. Therefore, when they reach rank 8, they can usually reach 4,000 hertz. Mental strength is still extremely important. You're not me. You don't need to cultivate your mental strength. My advice is to wait until you reach 3,999 hertz, or even 4,999 hertz. When you're facing a major obstacle, then try to break through. At this time, you can make use of the moment of breakthrough to break through this barrier." Fong Ping shook his head and said, "I'm just afraid that when it reaches 3,000 hertz, it will automatically pull. Then I won't be able to do anything." "That won't happen." Old man Li chuckled. "You have to take the initiative to guide your mentality. You have to control it. If you don't guide it, it won't affect the honing of your bone marrow and allow you to enter the golden body state. Wouldn't it be faster for me to cultivate my mentality when I reach rank 8? Like I said, it's a matter of checkpoints and bottlenecks. When you reach rank 8, you're facing a bottleneck. Do you think you can break through this checkpoint when you enter rank 9? But I don't have any bottlenecks in my cultivation. Even if I did, 999 hertz was the biggest hurdle I faced back then. After devouring the heavenly golden lotus, I managed to overcome it." Fong Ping said it very naturally. "I don't have any bottlenecks. Why would I care about these things?" Old man Li was mentally exhausted. He did not feel like talking anymore. Bottleneck. Did Fong Ping have a bottleneck? This kid didn't seem to have such a saying. As for the others, there were still some. How many years had Lu Pola been stuck at rank 7? Lu Fengre too. Today, Qin Fengqing was also stuck here, unable to break through to rank 7. What about Fong Ping? Ever since he started cultivating, it seemed like he had never broken through. If he had not achieved myriad Dao unification, perhaps he would still be struggling at early stage rank 7. Old man Li was a little relieved. Myriad Dao unification, the bottleneck was not that big. It's up to you then, but I suggest that you better complete the first forging of your golden body before you break through. Maybe you can enter the stage of greater mastery of the second forging directly. People like us shouldn't waste any chances. When you're breaking through, some of the checkpoints will be very easy to pass." Fong Ping understood. He said, "I understand. Then I'll start honing my body with the imperishable substance from now on." "Oh, right. Can the brain nucleus be honed with the imperishable substance?" Even if vitality force, mentality, and life force are added together, the effect is still not as good as the imperishable substance. No, Old Lee, isn't the combination of these three powers the imperishable substance? In my opinion, the so-called golden body power is vitality. If I use the imperishable substance to hone my brain nucleus, won't it be faster and more effective? Fong Ping suddenly thought of this. Old Man Lee frowned. Don't try it so easily. You youngsters dare to do anything. Since the ancient martial artists didn't mention this, and there's no record of it in the cultivation methods, then it's best not to try it rashly. But the imperishable substance has the effect of recovery. Then what will you do if you hone your brain nucleus and explode? Old Man Lee was a little helpless. Youngsters nowadays were really bold. The cultivation methods had just been obtained. The powerhouses were not too familiar with them now. It was not time to modify them yet. If they changed the honing method rashly now, who knew if there would be unforeseen events? Then I'll try it a little. What do you think? It's too slow now. Fong Ping looked at the shrunken celestial bridge and Sanjiao Gate in front of him. He still felt that it was a little slow. Honing and strengthening the brain nucleus had increased the upper limit of his mentality relatively quickly. However, cultivation was always like this. The early stages were fast, but the later stages were slow. On the 23rd, Fong Ping honed for a day. His upper limit of mentality increased by about 150 hertz. On the 24th, it increased by about 100 hertz. On the 25th, it increased by more than 50 hertz. On the 26th, it increased by more than 30 hertz. After 4 days, it increased by almost 350 hertz. At this moment, Fong Ping's upper limit of mentality had already reached 2,670 hertz and above. However, according to this speed, it was getting slower and slower. In the next day, it might only be more than 10 hertz. If he wanted to reach 3,000 hertz, it would take at least a month. At this moment, Fong Ping felt that there were still some limitations to the cultivation methods of ancient martial arts. It did not mean that once you obtained the cultivation methods, your mentality could really increase without limits. However, if you used the imperishable substance to hone it, it might be better. Old Man Lee really did not want to talk anymore. Slow. It had only been a few days, and this kid's mentality had increased rapidly. He could feel it clearly. Was this considered slow? If someone heard it, was he not afraid of being angered to death? Hearing that he wanted to try using the imperishable substance, Old Man Lee said helplessly, "Think carefully. Sometimes a little increase in strength might be a kind of catalyst. If the reaction is too intense and your brain nucleus explodes, then you'll become a living dead." When he said that, Fong Ping was a little hesitant. After thinking for a long time, Fong Ping gritted his teeth and said, "I'll give it a try. It's fine now when I'm rank 7, but when I'm rank 8, it can't be the same, right? If my mentality is lacking, my physique won't be able to keep up." At rank 8, mentality did not seem to be very useful, but it did not mean that it was useless. On the contrary, at rank 8, mentality was even more useful. Mentality was the catalyst that gave birth to the imperishable substance. Without strong mentality, it was difficult for martial artists to forge a golden body. Moreover, the golden body and mentality were also based on the wooden bucket theory. If one's mentality was weak, it would be difficult to support a strong physique. Even if the golden body 9 forging technique took the path of the physique, the limitations of mentality still existed. It was just not obvious. This was because if one wanted to forge a strong physique, mentality would not be too weak. The pressure in the Schwanda Grotto heaven was incomparably strong. If that senior was a powerhouse who cultivated his physique, it meant that his mentality had also reached the corresponding realm. Fong Ping insisted on trying. Old man Li had no choice but to give him a few reminders and began to help him guard. While Fang Ping was still trying to use the imperishable substance to hone his brain nucleus in the water, on the shore, in front of MCMAU's gate, Fang Yuan was high and mighty. She carried a broadsword on her shoulder and walked into the school in high spirits. "I'm back," Fang Yuan shouted as soon as she entered the school gate. A moment later, more than 10 girls around her shouted, "Congratulations to the president for defeating the enemy and returning. Congratulations to the president." From afar, a few older students watched for a while. After a while, someone said in a low voice, "That's Sister Fang Ping?" "She is, right?" "What do you mean by that?" "She is. She's practically carved from the same mold." The person who spoke earlier was speechless. A peak rank, one martial artist who had completed some unknown mission had actually returned to school with more than 10 girls waiting at the school gate to shout congratulations. What the hell? Sigh. Someone sighed. The school spirit of MCMAU. They were completely led astray by Fang Ping. Every one of them was like this. In the past, everyone kept a low profile. Now, even rank 1 martial artists who had completed missions had to find an opportunity to show off. The moral degeneration of the world is getting worse and worse. Someone shook his head. After shaking his head, he quickly asked, "That's some Yuan Ping Club, right? Are they still recruiting? There are quite a few girls in there, and they're all juniors." As soon as he said that, everyone around him looked at him with disdain. Shameless. Despite their disdain, some of them still smiled at the girls in front of the school gate. Not bad. There were even a few young and tender juniors. It wasn't easy. Martial artists' cultivation was arduous and tiring. Martial artists in the 3 lower ranks, be it male or female, were more or less crude. Middle ranks were slightly better. They had already passed that stage. What they honed was the internal organs, and when the internal organs were honed, some changes would occur. Therefore, there were not many beautiful female martial artists among the 3 lower ranks. Yuan Ping Club, however, seemed to have some. These older students were contemplating whether or not to join the club. In front of the gate, Fang Yuan did not care about them. She carried her broadsword, her young and round face looking out of place with the broadsword. On the way back, she did not drive. She took the train. An old auntie in the carriage looked at her in amusement. After a long time, she could not help but pinch her little face for a while. She even advised her that children should not play with such dangerous toys. Fang Yuan was very angry. She felt that she was being looked down upon. Now that she was back, she put on a straight face, trying hard to pretend to be more dignified. "I'm a martial artist now. I'm almost a rank 2 martial artist. I'm not a child." Since she was a martial artist, she had to be more serious and serious when she spoke. Therefore, Fang Yuan said with a straight face, "Did you call the Martial Arts Association? Why am I not the first in rank?" 1. President, next to her, a young girl struggled for a long time before saying, "I called the Martial Arts Association." The person who answered the phone said, "What did he say?" "He said that MCMAU is too arrogant. Forget about grandmasters. They even dared to call rank 1 to ask for a ranking. In short, they said one thing. What? Get lost." Fang Yuan looked embarrassed. "So direct? Forget it, forget it. When I'm stronger, I'll use my martial arts to threaten them. I'm only rank 1 now. I'm no match for them. If they want to get lost, so be it." Fang Yuan did not dwell on this topic. She mumbled, "I'm almost rank 2 anyway. I don't care about the first in rank 1. Oh, right. My brother became the first in rank 7. Where is he?" "I didn't see him." Vice Chancellor Fang disappeared as soon as he came back. We can't enter the southern area either. I don't know if he's there. Aha, got it. Oh, right, President. A girl next to her said, excitedly, President, did you really kill someone this time? Of course. Fang Yuan looked proud. She humphed. Everyone has the right to kill evil sect martial artists. This time, I went on a mission and killed countless enemies. President, really? How many did you kill? A lot. Then, are you afraid of killing people? A girl asked, a little scared. These people had just entered rank, one not long ago. They had not done any missions yet. Before coming to MCMAU, they had not even fought before. How could they have killed anyone? At the start of school, they killed a few wolves. Many of them almost vomited. Killing people and killing monsters were completely different. Fang Yuan said proudly, afraid? How is that possible? When I was on a mission, I met evil sect martial artists. I killed them with one slash and scared them so much that they ran for their lives. Fang Yuan's words were extravagant. The little girls around her were full of admiration. The president was the president. Although she was the youngest, only 16 years old, her ability was already peak rank 1. Moreover, she had gone on a mission so soon. She even killed people. Not only did she kill people, but she was also not afraid at all. That was worthy of admiration. In the sky, Song Yingji, who had also rushed back, said enviously, Fang Ping's sister is quite powerful. She's much stronger than my Xiaoya. Beside him, Bai Ruoshi felt a little tired. Should I say it or not? Forget it, I'll say it. I can't help it. She didn't learn much, but the way she talks is just like her brother. Bai Ruoshi smiled bitterly. She used a sword, but she insisted on carrying a saber. She said that a saber is more domineering. Can you believe it? When she did her first mission, she didn't even finish it. She cried 7 or 8 times and threw up 4 or 5 times. Can you believe it? When she killed the first evil sect martial artist, she slashed him dozens of times, but she didn't kill him. The evil sect martial artist couldn't take it anymore and had his limbs chopped off by her. He begged her to kill him and taught her how to kill him with one slash. Can you believe it? This time, following Fang Yuan had broadened her horizons. She had never seen an enemy who begged their opponent to kill them and even taught them how to kill on the spot. There was no other way. The evil sect martial artist was only upper stage rank 1. His limbs were chopped off, but Fang Yuan did not dare to chop off his head or stab his heart. That would be torture. Slash after slash. But she still could not kill him. The girl was still crying while she was slashing. The martial artist who was slashed could not even cry. In the end, he was in so much pain that he had no choice but to teach Fang Yuan how to kill him. Otherwise, he was afraid that he would die in pain. Song Yingji was dumbfounded. Bai Ruoshi said helplessly. After she finished her mission, she called before she came back. She asked the Martial Arts Association to change the ranking list and asked the members of her club to come to the entrance to create hype. She gave each of them a vitality pill. Don't you think it's familiar? Song Yingji scolded. Isn't this what that little bastard does? He could not help but look at Fang Yuan and said weakly, that bastard Fang Ping. It's bad enough that he's rotten to the core, but is he trying to pass on his habits? His sister was only rank 1. Now, they were actually doing such things. If the upper beam was not straight, the lower beam would be crooked. The atmosphere in MCMAU was really bad. Bai Ruoshi was helpless too. She sighed. If you're not from the same family, you'll have to marry into the same family. Speaking of which, this girl is quite resilient. Bai Ruoshi still praised her. She lamented. She cried. She scolded, but in the end, she gritted her teeth and endured it. She didn't complain to anyone. She didn't complain to anyone. She was always carefree in front of others. Come to think of it, she's only 16 years old. I wasn't as good as her when I was 16. Song Ingji nodded slightly when he heard this. He said softly, having a brother like Fong Ping is pressure, but it's also motivation. I heard that the evil sect attacked Fong Ping at his house at the beginning of the year. Fong Yuan must have seen it. With that kind of experience, she still insisted on going to MCMAU. Actually, we can already tell what this girl is thinking. Fong Ping is probably the only one who doesn't want to face reality. Bai Ruoshi did not say anything. Song Ingji said again, I heard that he killed 2 rank 9s this time. Is that true? That's what the martial arts world is saying. But I heard that he killed them with a trick. No matter what, it's still beyond our reach. Bai Ruoshi was a little emotional. She had just entered middle stage rank 6. There was still a long way to go before she could reach rank 7. Song Ingji had also just entered upper stage rank 6 not long ago. He might need more time to reach peak. Both of them sighed. In just 2 years, Fong Ping had gone from an aspiring martial artist to the first rank 7. It was unimaginable. Sometimes, however, reality was cruel. Even if they did not want to face it, they knew clearly that the gap between them and Fong Ping was getting bigger and bigger. Now, MCMU was getting stronger and stronger. As rank 6 instructors, the pressure was also increasing day by day. Both of them chatted for a while. Below them, Fong Yuan was still showing off. At this moment, a celestial bridge appeared in midair. Immediately, the Sanjiao Gate landed on the celestial bridge. Someone's mentality had materialized. Dean Luo has broken through. At this time, many people had gathered. Many of them looked happy. After Tang Feng's breakthrough, MCMAU had another Grandmaster powerhouse in a few months. Before this, Guo Shengquan and the rest were from the outside world. They were not MCMAU's own powerhouses who had broken through. Everyone lacked a sense of joy. However, at this time, Luo Yichuan, an old MCMAU man, had broken through, still made everyone excited. The Sanjiao Gate landed. Not long after, a long spear materialized in the air. The materialization was successful. Congratulations to Dean Luo for advancing to Grandmaster. Congratulations to Grandmaster Luo. The next moment, deafening cheers resounded throughout MCMAU. On the 3rd day of the ranking update, September 27th, the first rank 6 Luo Yichuan had advanced to Grandmaster. At this point, MCMAU had one more Grandmaster. The number of Grandmasters was 14. The outside world did not have time to congratulate him. September 29th, MCMAU Zhang Jianhong had advanced. This powerhouse who had guarded the Magic City catacombs for many years had also entered Grandmaster. MCMAU had one more Grandmaster, up to 15. On MCMAU's side, Qin Fengqing, Su Giqing, Qin Zhenhua, and Hu Jiaming had all achieved mentality vitality unity. Lu Polu was in closed-door cultivation. Perhaps he would advance to rank 8 soon. Li Changxing and Fong Ping were also in closed-door cultivation. Wu Quishan, Huang Jing, and a few others in the Magic City catacombs were also concentrating on cultivation. After the battle at Skygate, MCMAU had reaped war dividends. The follow-up effects were gradually manifesting. A large number of powerhouses had emerged. The old dream of one school suppressing one catacomb was gradually coming true. P.S. There are only 2 updates today. Sorry. These days will continue until January 7th. Normal updates will be resumed on January 8th. Any missed updates will be made up. Sorry, everyone. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.